get cash back. 5:05 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
What is this nonsense?
The Joe Walsh Show.
Time magazine had uncovered a question. Why did 49 people die? Why, are you serious? 49 innocent people lost their lives in Orlando because a Muslim terrorist killed them. There's your answer, you stupid media.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
From a single truck to large fleet, your business success depends on minimizing downtime for body and fender collision work, floor replacement, roofs, side panels, or bumper and hood damage. For over 4 decades, Chicagoland companies depend on Robax Truck and Auto Inc. Robax experienced techs average over 15 years with the company, offering pickup and drop-off service along with customer service second to none. Robax sees your job through. They believe customer satisfaction isn't everything, it's the only thing. That's why startup to Fortune 500 companies have depended on Robax for over 20 years. Robax also excels in box repair, truck body repair, and servicing of Morgan, Supreme Bodies, and other companies. So for a single vehicle or large fleet, call Robax Truck and Auto. Passion and dedication are the Robax tradition. Your satisfaction is guaranteed. Call Samantha at Robax today. Dial 847-981-9408 for info or a quote on your truck repair work. That's Samantha at 847-981-9408.
5:07, Guardian Security Services Traffic Center time. Let's get the latest this morning from Jim Talamonte. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Mike. On Chicago's southeast side, 106th remains closed off between Torrance and Avenue O due to that major multi-alarm junkyard fire, which started yesterday and rekindled early this morning. So crews remain busy at the scene. Starting today, ramps to and from the Indiana Toll Road at 94 and 80-94. Those ramps closed today until mid-November for construction. The detour will be via I-65. Right now, it's all clear on the Edens. No delays to report on the Kennedy, the Eisenhower, the Stevenson, or the Ryan. The other expressways and tollways are also looking good. Traffic is a service of ADT. ADT, the security leader for over 140 years. Trust ADT to protect your home, family, and all you care about. When you have ADT security, it's more than a sign in your yard, it's a line in the sand. Visit ADT.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer is next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Here is our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today, windy, warm, and humid with periods of clouds and sun with a shower or thunderstorm around. High today, 89. Couple of showers and a heavy thunderstorm tonight with a low 73. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
75 at O'Hare, 78 along Chicago's lakefront, 72 this morning in Aurora. Your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by HealthQuest Radio with Dr. David Kolbaba. HealthQuest Radio is heard Saturday mornings at 11 o'clock here on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Amy, running a little bit late, coming from the Black Lives Matter protest with her church group yesterday on Wacker Drive. So she'll be here shortly. Yesterday, though, this was quite a get by The Blaze, by Glenn Beck's media outlet. Gave a little preview of an interview that is going to be aired tomorrow night, Wednesday night, and it is with the Dallas shooter's family, his father, his mother, and his stepmother. And this is sort of an interesting note. His stepmother happens to be white. I don't know what their relationship was, but considering what the shooter said when he was in the standoff with police after having killed so many officers, 5 officers, and wounded so many others, It's just a kind of an interesting note. Listen to what they had to say. These are just snippets that preview the longer interview where an individual from the Blaze sat down with all three of them together. The father in particular, you can tell that he is in a lot of pain. He is hurting, and it's understandable.
I don't know what to say to anybody to make anything better. I didn't see it coming.
Talk about Micah, honey. He was a good son. He was a good son.
I love my son with all my heart. I hate what he did.
And James Johnson, the shooter's father, said his son, after returning from the military, as we know, began thoroughly studying Black history and starting expressing interest in his heritage. But as you heard him say, he didn't see coming what so tragically came. Listen to what his mother has to say now. His mother talking about, specifically asked about what happened from the time he went to the time he enlisted as an Army reservist, but then also was deployed, to the time he came back from his deployment. Did something happen? Was there a disillusionment that could have fostered some of this putrid thinking that led to this act of evil?
Did he ever talk about any of his experiences in the military that maybe made you question, did something happen? Was it the war? Or?
I don't remember anything. I don't remember anything about it. The military was not what Micah thought it would be.
It disappointed him.
He was very disappointed, very disappointed. But it may be that the ideal that he thought of our government, of what he thought the military represented, it just didn't live up to his expectation.
Yeah, so disillusioned by his experience in the military, that's hardly a unique story. And this is not to justify anything that came to pass, but it's to try and understand maybe the bases for which the hatred that he expressed in that confrontation with police, maybe the bases from where that came. There's now the flip side of this, and we'll look forward to the interview, the full interview with his father, mother, and stepmother tomorrow. But the flip side of this is Dallas Police Chief Brown. This guy is really interesting. I want to hear this guy talk more and so many other people talk less. Dallas Police Chief David Brown talking about his perspective on things, where he comes from. The foundation turns out to be important. Foundation leads somewhere. And Dallas Police Chief David Brown saying that I'm a servant. At my core, I enjoy serving people, and I am a person of faith. I am a Christian, and I believe that service is part of my direction, and loving people despite themselves is something I aspire to be. I am flawed, though, like many of us. And, of course, we talked yesterday about Chief Brown's rather remarkable background growing up in a tough neighborhood in South Dallas, not necessarily having a great opinion of the police as a young man, but then seeing the crack epidemic ravage his neighborhood in the 80s and decided that he wanted to be on the opposite side of that. And so pursued a career in law enforcement, only to have to go through one of his partners being shot and killed while on duty, having to go through his son shortly after he was named Dallas Police Chief, shoot and kill a police officer, and then be shot and killed by a police officer in return. By the way, a shooting that Chief Brown calls, unfortunately, because it was his son, justified. You can imagine the pain that he went through, much like the pain that the Dallas shooter, James Johnson, is going through, as we heard from him there on that snippet from the interview that's forthcoming. The pain they're going through. But that perspective is so important. And it's a perspective that's important because it belies what we get from the anchor news bots, the cable news bots on the anchor desks, as well as from kind of legacy media in generally, doesn't it? Doesn't it belie it? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro, answer line 64636DA, turnkey.pro, text line, because if we were just to watch the professional agitators on the streets of Chicago and St. Paul and Baton Rouge and many other cities, and if we were just to listen to these kind of pablum-puking pundits that populate the cable news airwaves, we would think things are a lot worse than they are. We would think things are a lot more divided than they are. The data suggests two things that we know, and this is not to suggest we don't have some fundamental problems, because we do, but the data suggests two things. Gun homicides are down 40% over the last 24 years. Lowest rate of gun-related homicides in 34 years in 2014. This, according to Centers for Disease Control report, final data on deaths in this country for that year, which was released just at the end of last month, 34-year low. Also, frankly, even though we've seen a spike year over year in police being targeted, police being the victims of violent crime, the war on cops that Heather McDonald has written a much ballyhooed book about that's been discussed over the last several days in particular, that actually during the Reagan years, so going back to the 80s, kind of the same track as gun-related homicides generally, an average of 101 police officers were intentionally killed during each of Ronald Reagan's years as president. During George Herbert Walker Bush's presidency, that number fell to 90. It fell to 81 under Bill Clinton, 72 under George W. Bush, and it's 62, under Barack Obama. It's not to say that the presidents had anything to do with this. It's a general trend. Part of it is the aging of America. Part of it is incarcerating violent criminals for longer periods of time. But just a little bit of perspective on this, because while we talk about Chicago having one of the highest murder per capita rates in the country, and it does, and we talk about that being unacceptable to what we see happening in New York and L.A. and Houston, other major urban centers with similar size populations, if not significantly larger populations like New York, similar demographics to Chicago like in Houston, and not nearly the same violent crime problem. That's still an important conversation. And it's not to minimize that with respect to just kind of looking historically. But the point is that the carnage is not at all-time highs, as you would believe if you just listen to and watch the people that are put in front of the camera or put in front of so many microphones. It's just not the case. And so this goes back to what we were talking about a little bit yesterday, which is that we actually are getting along a lot better than some people would have you believe. Some people whose business is to divide and conquer. Some people whose business is to polarize because they make money, whether it's on the soft-headed, sentimental barbarians on the left or some demagogues that identify on the right. They make money by doing so. So just a little bit of context on this so that maybe we ratchet down the amp on the rhetoric a little bit and talk about what we should be talking about in the wake of these things. And it's not, frankly, DeRay McKesson and Black Lives Matter. That's a sideshow. We don't have to have the conversation that they want to foist upon us. We don't have to have the conversation and obsess about what we hear from cable news types or from some populist demagogues on the right. We don't have to do that. We can choose not to.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Now let's
Okay,
yeah,
Dan?
sorry, Jim Telemonte. Thanks. Give us a check on the traffic.
All right, Dan, thanks so much. Good morning. Right now, the expressways and tollways look great throughout the Chicago area. The Edens is delay-free. Same goes for the Kennedy, the Eisenhower, the Stevenson. The Ryan's getting a little heavy inbound, approaching downtown. It's wide open outbound. I-57, Bishop Ford, all clear. The tollways are good. Lakeshore Drive has resurfacing going on in both directions between the Stevenson and 57th. This is some moving work. There was some pavement buckling there. Right now, you don't see any significant delays. The tollways, again, look good. In Northwest Indiana, fine. But starting today, ramps to and from the Indiana Toll Road at 94 and 8094, they will close till mid-November. And there's still a closure on the southeast side of 106th between Torrance and Avenue O. A big fire there has rekindled early this morning. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
Have you seen the store shelves? They're already putting out the back-to-school supplies. The school year's just around the corner. Maybe this summer you've been rethinking about sending your kids to a public school. Things are changing, and our public schools are not always for the better. Now might be the time to consider a private school, and you can do that for half the price of regular tuition thanks to halfpriceschools.com, where you can find tuition vouchers for private schools across Chicagoland available at half of the normal price. No catch. Very simple. Find a school near you, purchase the tuition voucher, and prepare to send your child off to school this fall. HalfPriceSchools.com has schools located all across Chicagoland, including schools in South Holland, Orland Hills, Arlington Heights, Downers Grove, Lamont, Palatine, Westchester, Wheaton, Libertyville. Don't delay. Schools will be starting again in just a few weeks. Visit HalfPriceSchools.com. Many of these vouchers have already sold out, so don't wait. Visit HalfPriceSchools.com today. That's HalfPriceSchools.com.
You don't need a real estate agent with gimmicks. You need the selling power that only Ed Lukasik Jr. can give you.
I'm Ed Lukasik Jr., owner of RE/MAX Professionals. I know how to maximize the sale of your home.
Ed is listed in the top 30 RE/MAX agents nationwide.
When I list a home for you, I only represent you, not the buyer. I am fighting for your highest home value.
Ed Lukasik Jr., the #1 RE/MAX agent in Illinois for most closed listings.
I use the latest online and mobile technologies to market your home and drive buyer activity to my listings. That equals maximum exposure for my sellers.
Ed closed 260 homes last year. That's a home sold every 1.5 days.
I am an agent that has your best interests at heart. It's not about a quick sale. It's about negotiating to maximize every dollar so you get the highest value for your home.
Call Ed Lukasik Jr. of RE/MAX Professionals, 630-679-5454, 630-679-5454. Sell your house with the professionals, RE/MAX Professionals.
I am so glad I did it. I'm just mad at myself for waiting so long. Hi, Amy Jacobson here for CertaPro Painters. You know, our front porch had chipping and peeling. It looked old and run down, but thanks to CertaPro Painters, it looks brand new again. And trust me, my neighbors are happy I did it. And you know, it's not too late to book that painting project. But don't wait. Be sure to get on CertaPro Painters' summer painting schedule today. Call 800-GO-CERTA or visit CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. You know, CertaPro Painters will work around your busy schedule to get your home looking picture perfect for all your summer entertaining. That's why CertaPro Painters says we do painting, you do life. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Whether it's residential or commercial, interior or exterior, it's not too late to get that painting project off your to-do list. Call now, 1-800-GO-CERTA, 1-800-GOCERTA, or visit CertaPro.com today.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so we're just talking about Dallas and an interesting op-ed in the Chicago Tribune today from one of my favorite op-ed writers. That would be me. I enjoy my work immensely. Here's some of what I had to say, and I encourage you to check out the Chicago Tribune, or you can go to upstream-ideas.com where we'll post it as well. But it's about this important conversation. You know, we always hear in the wake of something like Dallas or Orlando, the politicians' patois. We need to come together as a community to unify so we can have the important conversation required to begin the healing. And we never quite get to that important conversation, do we? We just get to that talking point. So when I discussed before about not having to have the conversation that's foisted upon us by the soft-headed, politically correct, let me just say a couple of things. I'm not a victim because I'm white, and some lunatic in Dallas wanted to and did kill white people. It doesn't make me a victim. The Dallas murders are not a proxy for race relations in America. The Dallas murders do not represent an epidemic, quote unquote, another word the media likes to throw around, an epidemic of hate or hate crimes or blacks targeting whites. Here's something that we might want to consider. White police officers keep black families safe. Black police officers keep white families safe. Blacks mourn the deaths of white officers. Whites mourn the deaths of black officers. And we all, including police officers, mourn the deaths of those wrongly killed by police. 1/3 of Chicago's 12,000 person police force is black. Do you think they care when Walter Scott is shot in the back, fleeing a scene? Do you think they care when Laquan McDonald is shot 16 times? I suspect they do. So perhaps for those people on the fringes agitating for profit, maybe we should think about what their motivation is. Because I don't want a race war. And it seems like some of the people on the streets and who then turn into cable news pundits for some reason because they're running around on the streets with a creative chants. Now they're an important person we need to hear from. I don't think they're an important person we need to hear from. And I think maybe we should consider who is trying to foment racial discord, who apparently is open to the idea of a race war, and who isn't. Ed in Oak Brook, you're in Chicago's Morning Answer.
You know, Dan, I'm buying everything you're saying with the statistics and everything, but I can prove that Rhode Island is bigger than Texas at numbers. But the fact of the matter is the media and a lot of your politicians, your bullies like Rahm Emanuel and the governor from Minnesota, are fueling this. Or back in the day with Reagan and those guys, it was like subdued. I mean, it would just happen. But these guys are fueling it by blaming the white police officers or any police officers for all of this violence, when in fact the matter is, what they should be saying is, well, when you get stopped by a police officer, just cooperate. And then just go on with your business as far as getting a judge and a lawyer and so forth and so forth. Nobody wants to be stopped by a cop. And you and Amy both were stopped by a cop, and I'm sure you didn't enjoy the experience. But yet you just cooperated and you weren't shot.
I mean, I've been stopped by cops many, many, many times because I have this problem of driving fast. And so I've gotten many, many speeding tickets in my life. And actually, I was stopped one time to the point, too, of since we had those police-involved shootings in both Baton Rouge and St. Paul, and this was the issue, one of the issues, I was stopped when I had a gun in my car. Now, I have a concealed carry permit, so it was lawfully in my car. But when I was stopped by the police officer for speeding, I had my hands at 10 and 2 on the wheel. And when the police officer came up and said, I stopped you. I said, yeah, I was speeding. And he said, license and, give me your license and insurance. I said, officer, before I take my hands off the wheel, I just want you to know I'm a lawful concealed carry permit holder, and I have a firearm in my glove compartment. And then, fine, okay. And then he watched me get my license and my insurance. I gave it to him. I got my ticket. I went on my way. Does it have to be more complicated than that? I don't think so.
No, it doesn't. And you know what? Last Friday you had Deborah Rowe on, and I wish you would use her permanently as a replacement player for one of you guys. She made the most sense out of any other host that you've ever had, in any media person. And she says police are nervous when they approach black suspects or victim, whatever, because of all of the violence in the black neighborhood.
Yeah.
And you read this, and you see this, and these police guys are, thanks to the politicians and the media, have a target on their back, and it's just awful. And when you say there's only 170 or 60 police officers died this year, you know what? One is way too many.
Well, of course, I'm not minimizing. I'm just trying. I'm just trying
I
statistical.
Saying,
yes.
But in other words, we got to protect these guys. And I wish
absolutely
you would organize a day called Blue Day, where everyone wears blue to show that the police, I have their back. It's not the scumbags that are marching and so forth. There's other people out there that support the police. It's like the mass majority, and the majority's got to start stepping up.
Yeah, I agree with that. Thanks for the call. And the other thing, too, just about what Deborah Rowe said, building off that, I mean, remember even Jesse Jackson Sr. famously said, I've got to admit, kind of sheepishly, that I get a little bit more jumpy when I'm being followed walking along the sidewalk by by young black males. So, and this is, Jesse Jackson, nobody plays racial politics like he does. So this is not to stereotype. It's just to describe a reality that people operate in on a daily basis in some of the neighborhoods that have become shooting galleries, and no one is cheering that on. You're just trying to describe and understand the experience that people are living so that maybe that experience can be improved.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey, parents, I know if you're like me, you are sick and tired of your kids spending time on their electronic devices, those iPhones, iPads. Just turn off the Xbox and check out Donley's Wild West Town. Yeah, it's a Western theme park just a short drive from Chicago. Wow, this is epic music in Union, Illinois. They're open this weekend from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. both days. One admission fee includes everything. It's really fun that everyone in the family can experience together. There's nothing else like it. Rides, attractions, panning for gold, shooting slingshots, a great Wild West show, a museum, a petting zoo, great food. There's a restaurant on the property and so much more. Parents, grandparents, kids, everyone will enjoy a day together at Donley's Wild West Town. It's interactive family fun. So check out all the details at wildwesttown.com. That's wildwesttown.com. And you can also set up group outings for your church group, summer camp, or daycare. Donley's Wild West Town open this weekend from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Donley's Wild West Town. It's good old-fashioned family fun. Yeehaw!
AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up, Jeb Bush is back, and he's got something to say about Donald Trump. We'll have that at 5:38. But now let's check the headlines with Mike Scott.
Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. 76 degrees. Michigan Governor Rick Snyder saying yesterday's deadly shooting at the Berrien County Courthouse was a terrible day in a wonderful community.
I ask that all Michiganders put your prayers out, your thoughts and prayers with the families of the lost law enforcement officials, and that we give our thoughts and prayers to the wounded.
Snyder visiting St. Joseph last night after the shooting that left 2 bailiffs dead following an altercation during an inmate transfer. Berrien County Sheriff Paul Bailey.
The inmate started fighting with the deputy and bailiff, and that's when the gun was able to be taken away. He was trying to escape.
2 bailiffs were killed, an officer injured before the inmate was killed. Likely Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump praising law enforcement officers yesterday on the campaign stump.
Our police officers rush into danger every single day to protect our communities, and they often do it thanklessly and under relentless criticism.
Meantime, presumptive Democratic nominee Hillary Clinton is expected to pick up the long-sought endorsement of Bernie Sanders during a joint appearance today in New Hampshire. President Obama will attend an interfaith memorial service today in Dallas for the 5 police officers killed in last week's shooting during a protest march. Fox's William LaJeunesse reporting outside of Dallas Police headquarters this morning that so far the only one tied to the attack is 25-year-old Micah Johnson. He was killed in an armed standoff with police. This morning, incoming British Prime Minister Theresa May says she's honored and humbled to be chosen as the country's new leader, addressing her supporters, looking to underscore that the transfer of power will happen smoothly in the aftermath of the vote favoring a British exit from the European Union. Current Prime Minister David Cameron will step down Wednesday. Today is Prime Day, and Amazon Prime members get discounts on all sorts of items today and unlimited free 2-day shipping and same-day delivery on millions of items. Federal prosecutors are recommending that a judge impose the same 14-year prison sentence on Rod Blagojevich at his August resentencing that the imprisoned governor received at his original sentencing in 2011. Sox pitcher Chris Sale this morning is paying tribute to the late Hall of Famer Tony Gwynn. Says he quit chewing tobacco when the Padres great died of salivary gland cancer in 2014 at the age of 54. Sale, who will start the All-Star game tonight for the White Sox, says he owes Gwynn a huge thank you for himself and his family. Golfer Jordan Spieth making news this morning, adding his name to a growing list of big-name athletes skipping the Olympic Summer Games in Rio. The news is a service of Staples, with everything you need for back to school at the lowest prices period. With their 110% price match guarantee, Price Match Plus, the 10% difference discount will be valid at checkout for items from retailers operating online and in retail stores. See store or staples.com for details. Staples, make more happen. 5:35 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
It finally feels like summertime in Chicago. The weather is warm, but the news, it's even hotter. So whether this will be the summer of Trump
Hillary is very weak. I think she's pathetic.
or the summer of Hillary,
The Republican nominee should never get near the White House.
one thing's for sure.
We're going to have a very contentious campaign.
The temperature will reach 560.
We need a tough tone in this country, folks.
AM 560.
She can't even handle her emails. How can she be president?
The Answer.
Here Maps. Hit the open road with free offline turn-by-turn guidance that works anywhere. Get it for your phone at here.com/offline.
Did you know 40% of all cancer could be prevented? That's a fact. Along with maintaining appropriate body weight and regular exercise, the American Institute for Cancer Research and the USDA confirm that eating 9 to 11 servings of fruits and vegetables every day is the key. Now ask yourself, am I at risk? How many servings of fruits and vegetables did I eat today? Balance of Nature has solved this problem and provides an easy and affordable way to consume over 10 servings of 31 different whole fruits and vegetables every day.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Call now, 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code CHICAGO.
If you suffer sinus congestion, trouble breathing through your nose, which gets worse when you lie down, facial pain, and sinus infections, antibiotics, nasal sprays, and steroids can only do so much. I'm Dr. Robert Deitch, and excited to tell you that recent advances in our field have opened exciting new doors. We're leading experts in a newer procedure called balloon sinus dilation that gently expands your natural sinus openings to fix underlying drainage problems. It takes 15 minutes and is performed in our office. Balloon sinus dilation is minimally invasive using local anesthesia and best of all delivers immediate and long-lasting relief. We're board-certified ENT specialists who can help you avoid expensive hospital visits and long recovery times.
For immediate and long-lasting relief from your sinus problems, call ENT Associates today at 847-882-5888 or visit nosinusproblems.com. That's ENT Associates at 847-882-5888 or online at nosinusproblems.com.
5:38, Guardian Security Services Traffic Center time. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Mike, we're now seeing delays on the inbound Stevenson, Pulaski to Kedzie. 37 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound fine at 34. Inbound Ryan delays start at 35th. 31st in the Express. 23 minutes, 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford, there's a 5-minute delay from 103rd to the merge. Edens, Kennedy, just fine. Inbound Eisenhower, a little congested past Manheim. Starting today, ramps from the Indiana Toll Road to eastbound 94. Westbound 80-94 will close till mid-November. Traffic service of ADT. ADT, the security leader for over 140 years. Trust ADT to protect your home, family, and all you care about. When you have ADT security, it's more than a sign in your yard, it's a line in the sand. Visit ADT.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Periods of sun through the day, windy, warm, and humid. And some damaging showers or thunderstorms could roll into the area later today into the overnight. High 87, low 73. 76 right now. Next news coming up at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by MyPainChicago.com. World-class treatment for chronic pain. Go to MyPainChicago.com.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues right now. And make sure to join me, Sean Hannity, this afternoon starting at 2, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And so, question for you. Donald Trump was in Virginia Beach yesterday at a rally unveiling proposal to reform the Veterans Administration. And he said he's the law and order candidate. And the question is, do you think Donald Trump will be the law and order president? Because I still think he's going to be the president of the United States. The way that Richard J. Daley was the law and order mayor of Chicago. Will he be the shoot to maim president? Here's Trump at Virginia Beach.
I am the law and order candidate.
And that was a setup to frame what he is versus what Hillary is.
Hillary Clinton, on the other hand, is weak, ineffective, pandering, and, as proven by her recent email scandal, which was an embarrassment not only to her, but to the entire nation as a whole, she's either a liar or grossly incompetent. One or the other. Very simple.
Yeah, and so this is interesting, right? Because Trump is now kind of crystallizing two dichotomies that he's trying to implant in the minds of the electorate. One is the system is rigged, the system is fixed, and he's the unfixer. Hillary Clinton is one of the D.C. fixers and the beneficiary of the D.C. fix, and he's the outsider unfixer. That's one. Now, the other one that he has, in part because of Jim Comey's decision, and in probably larger part because of what is being populated on your television screens around the country in terms of these protests, and particularly the antagonism towards police, is that he's the law and order guy. He's the guy that's going to stand on the skirmish line with police that are protecting civilization from the uncivilized. And Hillary Clinton, she operates under a certain lawlessness. So it's law and order or those who think that they're above law and order. That's a pretty good choice as well that I think he presents. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Those choices, as promulgated by Trump, however, have not completely extinguished the flickering flame of the Never Trump movement, which got a little bit of air yesterday, a little bit of oxygen yesterday, thanks to a judge in Virginia who ruled that Virginia delegates are not bound to Trump. They can vote their conscience, as has become the phrase that pays for the Never Trump folks. They are allowed to vote their conscience at the convention in Cleveland next week, where we will be, by the way. Amy and I will be at the convention next week, broadcasting from the convention all week. So that should be heap big fun. And the ruling provides, so this provides a glimmer of hope that somehow they could have a convention fight for the nomination. I think this is quixotic. I think it's become a bit silly. I think it's with some in the Never Trump movement, even some people I otherwise respect, I think it's become a little embarrassing. I understand people want to vote their conscience, and I understand people don't want to vote for Trump. But this movement that has no alternative and no real discernible path to do anything but make a statement of principle or offer an opportunity for a temper tantrum, depending on your perspective, maybe somewhere in between, I just don't see as terribly productive. But we'll take your calls on it. Again, 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. The judge, Robert Payne, ruled in favor of Virginia Republican Delegate Bo Corral, who sued the Commonwealth to allow Virginia delegates at the GOP convention to cast their votes for the candidate of their choice on the first ballot instead of the winner of the Virginia state primary, which was Donald Trump. He won it with a plurality, 34%, back in March, as you recall. And let's remember, too, something. The rules regarding primary elections are party-generated. And so, yeah, boy, I have to say, if everybody went into the primary understanding that you would be committed on the first ballot to the winner of that primary, which seems to be the rule set forward. I am not an expert in Virginia election law, but this is what seemed to be the case from the stories I've read on the topic. than having a judge intercede to essentially undo the rules of the game that the party set forward prior to the primary. I find it a bit problematic. You don't like the outcome, so you change the rules after the fact. I don't like that, even if I don't like the outcome. But by the way, just on another topic with respect to Trump, we talked about this yesterday, and we had some audio from an interview that retired Lieutenant General Michael Flynn gave to Martha Raddatz on ABC News over the weekend. And Flynn covered a range of topics. He also, including the abortion issue, where he said, I think women have to be able to choose because they're the ones that are going to decide to bring up that child or not. That's what he said on ABC on Sunday. And then yesterday on Fox, that same Lieutenant General Michael Flynn said he is a pro-life Democrat who attended pro-life rallies with his mother as a boy. He said, this shouldn't be an issue that decides the election, but he essentially said that they're not big issues. This and the redefinition of marriage, not big issues the country is dealing with that will cause the country to collapse. I don't agree with that. But that this is an issue where he is actually pro-life. The courts need to decide it, but he is pro-life, which is not what he said on Sunday. So maybe, frankly, based on those statements, Lieutenant General Michael Flynn, the 180 he did in 24 hours, maybe he turns out to be the perfect vice presidential complement to Donald Trump.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
The weather today appears to sun, windy, warm, and humid with a shower or thunderstorm, high 87. Tonight, showers, heavy thunderstorms, storms that can bring flooding and damaging winds, low of 73. Tomorrow, a couple more severe thunderstorms that can also bring flooding, high 85. Low tomorrow, 72. And now let's check the roads with Jim Telemonte, see if they're damaged or flooded.
So far, no, Dan. No water right now. There are some damage at Lakeshore Drive. Some pavement buckling was going on, and there was some repair work, which is now winding down, but there's been some moving work in both directions between the Stevenson and 57th to work on the pavement. Not seeing any significant delays, but it is getting heavy on the expressways. Inbound Eisenhower, about a 2 or 3 minute delay now from Manheim to 17th. Stevenson, scattered delays, now looking at 38 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 23 minutes, 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford, 25 minutes, 8094 to the Ryan. So that's about a 10-minute delay. Southeast side, 106th is closed. Torrance and Avenue O. Junkyard fire, which started yesterday, that rekindled early this morning. And starting today, ramps from the Indiana Toll Road to eastbound 94 and westbound 8094 are closing till mid-November for bridge work. Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
No matter what type of business you're in, having a strong business banking partnership can help your bottom line. I'm Jeff Boundy, president of Cornerstone National Bank and Trust Company. We strongly believe that trust, service, and relationship are the cornerstone of a successful business banking partnership. Customers like Rick Williams of Pump Supply agree.
Hi, my name is Rick Williams, owner of Pump Supply Incorporated. As a business owner, I recognize the importance of relationships. I need a bank that understands my business and is able to respond quickly and creatively to the needs of my company. Cornerstone has been a valuable business partner and has helped me grow my company and seize opportunities as I come across them. Whether it's providing a line of credit or financing the acquisition of equipment or real estate, Cornerstone has been there for me every step of the way.
Thanks, Rick. Please visit cornerstonenb.com, or I invite you to give me a call at 847-654-3000 to explore a business banking partnership.
Equal Opportunity Lender. Member FDIC.
A storm is on the horizon, and you need to keep the lights on no matter what. Your business relies on the power being on 24/7. It's the lifeblood of your data and computer systems. Weather-related outages from the power company are not acceptable. Your need for a source of power that's reliable 24/7, along with round-the-clock service that can dispatch technicians to your site immediately, is mission critical. Your business needs Charles Equipment Energy Systems on speed dial. These are the big boys, not residential or solar, but reliable industrial generators for emergency backup or events. When you need more than a 100-foot extension cord plugged into a small engine generator, call Charles Equipment Energy Systems. They keep the lights on with rental generators for job sites or power outages. They'll also keep you cool this summer with temporary air conditioners for any situation, big or small. Call 630-834-6000. That's 630-834-6000 or charlesequipment.com. charlesequipment.com. Reserve now for summer festival season.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so I know that some people are not going to want to hear from Jeb Bush. They thought he had gone away and wouldn't be coming back. Well, a former comm director for the Bush White House, Nicole Wallace, is now a flack on MSNBC, and so she scored an interview with Jeb Bush. Well, that's
but
what
also,
happened.
too, his daughter, Jenna, or his niece, Jenna Bush, works for NBC as well.
No. Well,
So that helps
nice.
if you want to get an interview with the Bushes.
Sure.
Grandma Bush, Grandpa Bush, any Bush.
Yeah, just employ some Bushes.
Yeah,
It's
that's-
just like
Jenna's actually not that bad.
employing a Chelsea.
Mhm.
You know, just put them on the payroll.
They know what they're doing, those news directors.
That's how it works for the combine.
But I loved Jeb yesterday. I thought he was fiery. He was assertive. It was the Jeb we didn't see out on the campaign trail.
No, this is the Jeb we saw on the campaign
You
trail.
think
And this
so?
is why he's relaxing in Kenny Bunkport and not as the nominee of the Republican Party. Here's Jeb on Trump and waxing reflective on the race.
Trump, to his credit, was very smart at exploiting these kind of opportunities. He's a master at understanding how the media works, more than anybody I've ever seen in politics. And kudos for him for kind of creating the environment and then manipulating the environment to his effect. The tragedy of this, though, is that there isn't going to be a wall built, and Mexico's not going to pay for it. And there's not going to be a ban on Muslims. None of that is, this is all like a alternative universe that he created. The reality is that's not going to happen. And people are going to be deeply frustrated, and the divides will grow in our country. And this extraordinary country, still the greatest country on the face of the earth, will continue to stagger instead of soar. And that's the heartbreaking part of this, is I think people are going to really feel betrayed.
Oh, amen, brother. He said it, because there is no wall going to be built, people. All of you bought this line of bunk that it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's true. I mean, they already have some. If you're going to build a wall, maybe Juarez, maybe Nogales. But between Texas, in the state of New Mexico, between Texas and Arizona, you don't even need a wall built. No one's even trying to cross there. There's no water sources there for life sustainability.
It's really, it just kind of illustrates the fact that there people like Jeb are just never going to quite understand what's happening and what's happened to him. Donald Trump didn't create the environment that he capitalized on. Frankly, for being real honest, both parties created the environment. The political ruling class created the environment. The big government DC set created the environment that gave rise to a Donald Trump.
And I respect that.
Donald
and what
Trump
you're saying,
didn't create it, and that's number
what
one.
you're saying is true.
And number two, Jeb Bush on the wall and the Muslim ban and other things. We'll see if they come to pass or not. But here's the thing. Every presidential candidate, every politician creates a world that doesn't exist at present because elections are about the future. So you're offering proposals that will likely not come to fruition, at least in your utopian vision for what they should be, because of the nature of compromise through the legislative process. So to say that what is or is not going to happen, Jeb Bush doesn't know that. I don't know that. Do I think everything's going to come to pass exactly as Trump has laid it out in the campaign? Of course not.
But a lot of people are voting that would not have voted because they believe in Trump and his message.
Do you believe
yes,
that?
Yes, they do. The people that sat out last election.
Yeah. Every politician. You think everything that Hillary says?
No, I don't.
Right.
But
do you think
it's not as it's crazy as we're going to build a wall.
How is building a barrier between our country and Mexico, how is that crazy?
Because it's not going to happen. It's not even needed in certain areas.
We have a barrier.
Just use a drone. Use other sources of ways to protect the border.
Drone strikes?
No, just seeing the drones and telling Border Patrol where they are, they make the arrest.
Yeah. Well,
it's better than building a wall. The wall is not going to happen. I'm just saying he was giving everybody a bunch of bull jive.
I know you're obsessed about the wall. The point
because I lived on the border, and all these politicians talk about, the border, and they haven't even been there.
Right. So all these politicians talk about all their grand ideas that never come to fruition, and somehow Donald Trump is the only one whose ideas may not come to totality in full form as he's describing them during the campaign. It happens with every politician in every race. So let's not be disingenuous about it. That's the problem with Jeb and so many of that big government ruling class set. They're disingenuous, they overstate the case, and they pretend they're innocent bystanders rather than the culpable parties that gave rise to the person that they despise.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from
Hillary
the
and
AM
Bernie
560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
What's your caliber? Sean Hannity here. Now, Black Rhino Concealment knows that many of you that listen right here on AM 560 carry or plan to carry, and you want the best holster for concealed carry or range practice or competitive shooting. Black Rhino holsters are comfortable and they're safe. Every holster is handcrafted by veterans, and it's made of 100% virgin Kydex with American-made fasteners. From precision fit and finish to secure retention and a quick draw, a Black Rhino is the finest holster at a very modest price. Backed by a lifetime material warranty and workmanship guarantee, Black Rhino has tactical carrier and concealed carry systems for every caliber. You know, the Second Amendment protects our rights to keep and bear arms, and Black Rhino protects those arms. Now, they hold your caliber against you. Just go to their website, blackrhinoconcealment.com, or call 847-783-6499. And if you use the promo code AM560, you get a 10% discount on your first order. That's 847-783-6499.
Business owners, I want you to stop and think about the one part of your organization that you simply cannot live without. What comes to mind? Your employees, your location, your customers? How about your technology? Let's face it, everything rests on your network running smoothly and efficiently. That's where Turnkey IT comes in. They understand the value of your network and the critical role it plays in your company. They'll keep your network up and running and resolve any problems so you can focus on the important things. Turnkey IT's team of professionals will respond to you quickly. They won't roll their eyes when you ask them questions or try to dazzle you with confusing technical jargon. This summer, Turnkey IT is offering a free security audit. So even if you have an IT guy, this free security audit will help you understand if they're keeping your data safe from viruses and hackers. So visit turnkey.pro today to schedule your free security audit and mention that Amy sent you. That's turnkey.pro, turnkey.pro.
If you're aged 59 and a half or older with the 401k plan and still working, stop what you're doing and call Arlington Capital Management at 855-471-5796. They'll help you actively manage your 401k, show you strategies to avoid major declines, and capitalize on opportunities. There are benefits with age, and this is one of them. At 59 and a half, you're entitled to new opportunities in the investment world that can dramatically improve your results and even lower your fees. Call 855-471-5796 now and take the first step toward getting more out of your retirement assets. The team at Arlington Capital Management proactively explores the market, our economy, and all of the variables that offset your investments. Call 855-471-5796 now for a complimentary consultation. That's 855-471-5796 or visit arlington-capital.com. You worked hard to accumulate your nest egg. Now, it's time to put your money to work for you.
WIND Chicago News Time is 6 o'clock.
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony.
I don't know what to say.
That's a father in grief. James Johnson's son, Micah, was the gunman who killed 5 cops in Dallas.
Anybody to make anything better.
He tells the Blaze website he didn't see this coming.
These 5 officers exemplified what the community and their departments expect of a police officer.
That's Dallas Police Association President Ron Pinkston at a candlelight vigil. About 1,000 people gathered last night, and today there will be a memorial service. President Obama and former President George W. Bush will both speak. This as protests continue nationwide. That's in Atlanta, demonstrating against the police killings of 2 black men last week in Louisiana and Minnesota. In St. Joseph, Michigan, a prisoner fought with 2 bailiffs as he was being escorted to a court hearing, took one of their guns, and killed both of them. He also wounded a sheriff's deputy and a woman before Larry Gordon was finally shot and killed. Donald Trump says,
I am the law and order candidate.
And the presumptive Republican nominee plans to choose his running mate this week before the convention next week as Hillary Clinton gets ready to unite with her longtime Democratic rival. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, Senator Bernie Sanders is expected to announce he's with her at a campaign rally today in New Hampshire. He was able to win some key concessions in the party's platform, including support for a $15 minimum wage and free college tuition. Michigan Representative Debbie Dingell believes Sanders supporters will back Clinton.
I think as Democrats we've come together. I think Senator Sanders has raised some issues that we all care about.
A new Pew Research poll shows 85% of Sanders fans will vote for Clinton in November. Dave.
Regional Defense Secretary Ash Carter is now in Afghanistan and met with that country's president and top U.S. commanders today after he went to Iraq, announcing another 560 American troops will go there. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
76 degrees, partly sunny skies at 6:02 on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Federal prosecutors this morning are recommending that a judge impose the same 14-year sentence on Rod Blagojevich at his August resentencing that the imprisoned governor received at his original sentencing in 2011. The filing by U.S. Attorney's Office members at around midnight last night comes after an appeals court struck 5 of the Chicago Democrats' 18 convictions last year. Protesters marching peacefully through Chicago's Loop in another day of demonstrations over police methods and the fatal shooting of 2 black men by officers in Minnesota and Louisiana.
There needs to be reform in the police training, the way police interact with people of color. There needs to be reform in the justice system so that we can make sure that cops who kill innocent people are given the proper punishment.
Well, Mayor Emanuel says police protests and respect for police officers can coexist. Get that part of the story from AM 560's David Stewart.
Black Lives Matter organized Monday's protest march, which began with a Millennium Park sit-in, then moved peacefully through the Loop to Federal Plaza before blocking some Loop streets. Mayor Emanuel praised police for their work over the weekend, but said it is possible both to demand police accountability and to respect officers who do their jobs.
This is not a binary choice. You don't have to pick sides to want good policing, safety, and good community relations.
David Stewart, Chicago.
The demonstrations in Chicago in recent days have been relatively peaceful, though police did scuffle with protesters on Saturday, resulting in 16 arrests. A person dead pulled from Lake Michigan. Authorities say crews removed the man from the water late last night near 31st Street Beach on the city's south side. Just a few days ago, a pair of Indiana men drowned near Gary Beaches while trying to rescue a toddler. San Francisco hurler Johnny Cueto will start for the NL All-Stars against the AL All-Stars and White Sox ace Chris Sale tonight in San Diego at the All-Star game. Sox slugger Todd Frazier came close but unable to defend his title in the All-Star Home Run Derby last night. The news service of Staples. Staples has everything you need for back to school at the lowest prices, period, with their 110% price match guarantee. Price match plus the 10% difference discount valid at checkout for items from retailers operating online and in retail stores. See store or staples.com for details. 6:04, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
People are going to look back at credit cards like they look at cigarettes.
The Dave Ramsey Show.
When I was a kid, everybody smoked. All my parents smoked. Everybody on the street smoked. Everybody thought smoking was cool. All the magazine ads had somebody with a cigarette hanging out of their mouth. And now people figured out not only does it stink, it causes cancer. People die from it. And so it's become this thing that nobody wants to do, right? And so that's where the credit card's going to be in 20 years. People are going to look back and just look at how stupid it was financially.
Dave Ramsey, weeknights starting at 7. Presented by Wintrust Community Bank on AM 560. The Answer.
Focus. You need it to run a business, so don't let legal questions distract you. Use LegalZoom instead. Things like lease agreements and employment laws get complicated, but they're part of running a business. That's why LegalZoom built a network of independent attorneys in 48 states. You can rely on them for the legal details without paying by the hour, since LegalZoom isn't a law firm. So focus on growing your business and use LegalZoom for the legal stuff. LegalZoom. Legal help is here.
Chances are you've had a tax problem, or know someone who has, or will have one. Bad taxes can happen to good people. Tax Defense Partners has been in the industry for almost 20 years. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, don't wait. Call 800-684-7777 now. Waiting can risk wage garnishing, compounding fees, interest, and more. Don't fight the IRS alone. Call Tax Defense Partners at 800-684-7777.
6:06 in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound Kennedy, traffic is at a standstill in the express lanes. From Division to Augusta, where the express lanes are closed. Between Augusta and Chicago Avenue, there's been a collision there. The outbound side of the Kennedy is fine. The locals, not a big delay, but you can expect to slow down there approaching Augusta. The Edens is clear. Inbound Eisenhower, slow Wolf to First. 35 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. Outbound fine at 29. Stevenson is 41 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound, it's good. Ryan, 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, Bishop Ford, both 25 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Indiana Toll Road ramps today will close to eastbound 94 and westbound 80-94 for long-term bridge repair. Traffic service of Aruba Tourism. Aruba is your happy escape to a perfect weather paradise. Relax at a luxury resort on the beaches voted some of the best in the entire world. Hop a non-stop flight from O'Hare to one happy island. Plan your shortcut to happiness today at Aruba.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Clouds and sun today with a shower or thunderstorm around. High 89, then a couple of showers and a heavy thunderstorm tonight, which could bring flash flooding and damaging winds. Low 73. Couple of thunderstorms tomorrow. Some may be severe. High 85. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
75 at O'Hare, 77 along the lakefront. Next news, 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Saul Z and the Z Team Realty. They guarantee to sell your home in 59 days or they'll sell it for free. Log on to callsaul.net for details.
Good morning. Welcome to your Tuesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
I am the law and order candidate.
The reality is that's not going to happen. And people are going to be deeply frustrated, and the divides will grow in our country.
On Wednesday, I would attend the House of Commons for Prime Minister's questions, and then after that, I expect to go to the Palace and offer my resignation, so we'll have a new Prime Minister in that building behind me by Wednesday evening.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. A week away from the convention. Republican convention just a week away. My, how time flies.
Who knew we'd be where we are? And there's 3 VP candidates left. That's what CNN's reporting today. Your guy, Governor Pence, is campaigning with Donald Trump today.
Yeah,
that's
probably
exciting.
Trying him on for size. I think
tried him out, Chris Christie, yesterday.
But trying him out for size. I think
he's still large, by the way, in case you're wondering.
I think it's going to be Pence.
Okay. Game over. Drop the mic. Walk out.
Well, I just think it is. I said this weeks ago, but
Yeah, but Pence has got to decide by Friday because he's also running for governor, and their state constitution says you can't run for two offices at the same time. Why didn't he do what Rand Paul did and change the state's constitution so you can run for Senate and president at the same time?
yeah.
He wasn't on that.
Well, interestingly, and also we mentioned this briefly last hour, but Lieutenant General Michael Flynn, who bubbled to the surface over the weekend,
Fizzled fast. Hey,
well, I
you
mean,
like
just
that?
well, I don't know. In very Trump-like fashion, he did a complete 180 from Sunday to Monday on the issue of abortion, even though he doesn't see abortion or the redefinition of marriage as particularly important issues. But clearly, maybe had devoted too much thought to him to do a 180 in 24 hours. That's a bit concerning. But
Well,
he
didn't
went
come
from
up- yeah.
he went from being pro-choice, it's a woman's right to choose, to being a pro-life Democrat. That's how his mama raised him. They went to pro-life rallies together.
What?
Yeah. He told Martha Raddatz one thing.
Yeah,
He
I
told
saw the
Jennifer
Martha
Griffin
Raddatz
at Fox News Channel
Uh-huh.
something different.
Well, it didn't work because yesterday Trump came. I think he told the Washington Post, was it yesterday, that he wants somebody, a legislator. He
Yeah,
wants a
he's-
lawmaker, and he's done. He doesn't need a
Well,
military man.
He's been saying that. He's been saying he wants somebody with D.C. legislative experience
Mm-hmm.
really from the beginning. So I'm not surprised. And the idea of having a general in the mix, a retired general in the mix, benefits Trump, and it frankly helps to buttress the case that he's the law and order candidate that he made. But just on the social conservative thing, since it was raised over the weekend by Flynn, or in the conversation Martha Raddatz had with Flynn, there was an effort on the social issue front, the moral issue front, to change the official Republican Party platform planks, the language on LGBT issues, so traditional marriage, as well as abortion. And the conservatives were able to maintain a strict definition of marriage as between a man and a woman. They limited the use of single-sex bathrooms in public buildings to those of the same biological sex. Wow.
It's too early to be talking about
So aggressive.
I need a safe space, Dan.
And they defeated efforts to steer the party in a direction more in line with LGBTQMNSOP advocacy groups. So it's still the party of conservative thought across the board, at least at the platform level, and it should be. Just on a related note to that, did you see this? Chelsea Manning,
Oh, yeah.
Bradley Manning.
Otherwise known as Bradley, yes.
He is the U.S. Army private who was in prison for leaking classified information to WikiLeaks. He mishandled classified information, and he's in prison.
Oh, compare that to one Hillary Rodham Clinton.
Yeah. If he had only said, I didn't intend to do it,
He would be free.
If only he could have pled the ignorance of the law defense that Jim Comey carved out for Hillary. But Bradley Manning, or Chelsea Manning, nay Bradley, confirmed Monday that he attempted suicide last week and was subsequently hospitalized. Manning's lawyer said last week Chelsea made a decision to end her life. I'm quoting, her attempt to take her own life was unsuccessful. She knows people have questions about how she's doing, and she wants everyone to know that she remains under close observation by the prison and expects to remain on the status for the next several weeks.
Well, aren't we paying for her hormone therapies?
Of course we are.
And that could be affecting her mood because biologically she has testosterone, not estrogen. And that could kind of mess with your brain.
Well, here's what maybe this issue raises. Maybe this unfortunate occurrence that anyone would attempt to take their own life.
Mm-hmm.
That's an unfortunate occurrence and consistent with what we're talking about just in terms of platform issues and how we understand these changing times. Maybe the idea of whatever afflicts Bradley Manning, maybe trying to change his gender identification isn't going to resolve those issues. Maybe it turns out to exacerbate them. And that's actually consistent with medical research at Johns Hopkins and elsewhere. So maybe this wasn't a good outcome for Bradley Manning. Maybe we shouldn't be cheering this on if we would like Bradley Manning to be a well-situated
Well, we don't want him
human
to be.
being.
We don't want him to be suicidal.
No.
Because if you try once, the chances are of trying again are going to be pretty high, especially if you're pumping him full of hormones that aren't natural.
Yeah, I think the psychological challenges probably transcend the impact of hormone therapy, but just something to note for everybody who's congratulating themselves about cheerleading for the latest diktat from the sentimental barbarians about what compassion is. Maybe cheering on destructive behavior is not compassionate. Maybe that's the case. I don't know anymore. Just a thought. Mike on the north side.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. I wanted to talk about that general. It seems Democrats love to bash Republicans about playing God and don't force your religion on me. But now this general sounds like a slave owner. Whoever raises the kid decides whether the baby lives or not. When are we going to get a plebiscite on all these mothers on public aid that are having kids out of wedlock?
Well, okay, Mike, thanks for the call. I mean, the problem with abortion is a problem that transcends socioeconomic status, it turns out. I mean, there's a lot of well-to-do people that decide that life is disposable if, for example, there is a disability associated with that life, or it's not the right time.
A lot of married couples get abortions.
Birth control, the use of abortion for birth control. That's not limited to indigent women. So just 2 points of order, because this is part of the conversation about our culture. And this part of the conversation about our culture, particularly with respect to things like the bathroom situation, is driving the slave rebellion, if you will, that is supporting Donald Trump. And I think it is the reason that he's going to be president of the United States.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan, I don't know if this is breaking news to you, but Caitlyn Jenner is going to appear in Cleveland during the Republican National Convention.
I heard. Can't wait.
I wonder what bathroom she... Oh, maybe I can go to the bathroom with her. Sorry, you can't play.
Maybe like Bobby Knight and Caitlyn Jenner will do Putting on the Ritz.
Wow, this is going to be exciting. I can't wait. I'm going to pack my bag now, get my best high heels. The weather is going to be a little dicey today. We're going to have sun. It's going to be windy and warm, but we have a chance of a shower or thunderstorm by this afternoon, a high of 87. Then tonight, heavy thunderstorms that could bring some flooding and damaging winds. And then tomorrow, a couple of severe thunderstorms once again, a high of 85. Anything stormy on the roadways? Here's Jim Telemonte.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. Inbound Kennedy and the express lanes, they're closed right now between Augusta and Chicago Avenue due to a crash, and traffic is stopped between Armitage and Augusta to take the locals, but you will find delays there from Diversey to Chicago Avenue, where the left lane is blocked due to that situation. It's 36 minutes already. O'Hare to downtown. 25 from Montrose, and the express are blocked from Augusta to Chicago Avenue. Outbound, just 22 minutes downtown to the airport. The Edens are still good. The Eisenhower, 36 minutes. Thorndale to downtown, outbound 30. Stevenson, heavy, 55 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. Eastbound Adams Tollway, heavy approaching Roselle with a stall in the right lane. Then it's slow from the Tri-State to the River Road Toll. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Mark Weingart, President and CEO of Star Creations, Inc., the fastest growing supplier of wall decor products in the U.S. When it comes to banking, I don't want to be a small fish in a big pond. That's why I bank at Signature Bank Chicago. At Signature Bank, every customer is important. I know I can pick up the phone and talk to any one of the decision makers I know and trust at Signature Bank. At Signature Bank, they understand and respond to the unique needs of my business with flexibility and fairness. I'm proud to bank with Signature Bank because I know they're deeply invested in the success of Star Creations.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Not available in all states. Whoa, what do you have there?
It's a Reese and Irvy's frozen yogurt. We just had our robot make one.
A robot made your frozen yogurt?
Yes, the world's first fully interactive robot vending machine that serves 9 flavors of delicious yogurt with 6 amazing toppings. And it's available for an exclusive franchise opportunity.
How do I get my own Reese and Irvy's robots?
It's easy, but you better act now. Locations and machines are going fast. Just go to froyofranchising.com and enter promo code 3939. That's froyofranchising.com, promo code 3939.
This is Shaquille O'Neal.
And the Shaquettes.
Reminding you that anytime is a good time.
Good time.
For the cooling, drying, fresh scent of Gold Bond powder spray. Like after the gym.
Or a crowded elevator ride.
Or golf.
Or working with farm animals.
Or a hard day's work.
Like sportscasting.
You said it, ladies. Stay cool with Gold Bond powder spray.
Stay cool with Gold Bond.
Your child is growing up. High school is your last chance to choose who will influence your student, who will help guide your child on the path to adulthood. Take a moment to consider Luther North. Luther North College Preparatory School on Chicago's Northwest Side challenges students to develop strong values and leadership qualities as they set goals for the future. Luther North boasts small class sizes, broad extracurricular opportunities, and championship athletic teams. Is your student ready to pursue higher level academics through AP classes or Luther North's dual credit program with Concordia University? Does your child struggle with organization, time management, impulse control, or stress management? Luther North provides a grounded, faith-based environment where faculty and staff are focused on seeing and serving your student as an individual. It's time to consider Luther North. Learn more at luthernorthcollegeprep.org or call 773-286-3600. Scholarships and financial aid options are available.
AM 560, The Answer.
Putting on the That's the dance number they're going to do, right? So
Yeah.
Caitlyn Jenner's
It'll
going.
Be, I think it could be young Frankenstein quality.
Oh, yeah.
I really do.
Caitlyn-
Bobby Knight and Caitlyn Jenner.
Oh, yeah. And Don King's going to be there, too. Don't forget Don King.
No,
But
how could
Caitlyn
you?
Jenner is going to Cleveland. She's going to apparently be at the Republican National Convention, but she's not on the docket to speak yet. But that could change because, Donald Trump is very friendly to the LGBT community.
Yeah.
Some people said he's the most friendly to gays and lesbians of any Republican candidate ever. Will that help him or will that hurt him?
He is.
Dan?
He is. He has been friendly to Caitlyn Jenner. He invited Caitlyn to use the bathroom at Trump Tower, and then Caitlyn did. And of course,
it's part of her I Am Kate reality TV show, and he knows a lot about reality TV shows, so they're helping each other out.
yeah, and he's going to Cleveland. Caitlyn, that is.
She's going to Cleveland.
No.
No. Oh, that's right.
No, that's as soon as Caitlyn Jenner gets
the naughty bits chopped off.
No, gets as soon as she loses. As soon as Caitlyn Jenner loses the Y chromosome, then you can use she.
Okay.
Until then, XY, that's man. Sorry, I hate to break it to people. XY is man.
312-642-5600.
But so he's going to Cleveland.
Yes.
It's just because there's a spectacle, and so he's going to be part of the spectacle. But he's
Part
not
of
gonna
her show, I Am
He's not going
Kate.
to be part of the convention.
They're going to try to
lineup.
capture Republicans who are nasty to her and then put it as part of their program to try and convince her that she should be a Democrat. But she said on her show last week, because I watched it so you wouldn't have to, I would never, ever, ever vote for Hillary. We're done if Hillary becomes president. The country's over.
Well, he's right about that, generally speaking. The country's not over, but it's it's bad news. He's directionally correct. I just want this interesting piece in the August edition of First Things, Matthew Schmitz, Donald Trump, Man of Faith. Talks about Donald Trump's religious upbringing, if you will. It's very interesting. Just a couple of quick points on it. Trump was baptized and confirmed at the First Presbyterian Church in Jamaica, Queens, in New York, of course.
Mm-hmm.
In his late 20s, Trump began attending Marble Collegiate Church on Fifth Avenue. This was founded by in the Dutch colony of New Amsterdam. Trump walked down the aisle.
Which time? First time?
Well, yes, right, with Ivana, yes. When Trump walked down the aisle at Marble Collegiate, it was the sermons of Norman Vincent Peale that informed his religious views. And for those of you who don't remember Norman Vincent Peale, he wrote this popular book at the time called The Power of Positive Thinking. It sold millions of copies. And he was part of kind of the evangelical establishment of sorts. This was back in the 50s and 60s. And Mr. Schmitz in his piece goes on to discuss that before Trump made his foray into politics, he read Peale's book and adopted Peale's program of positive thinking, The Power of Positive Thinking, Peale's book. And the two men then began to trade compliments in public and become a bit friendly. The point of this connection, its importance, is because of the approach that Peale took to Christianity. Peale talked about constant energy through positivity. Optimistic thoughts open up one to the vital force coming directly from God. Negative thoughts, especially the tendency to dwell on one's faults, could interfere with the divine charge. He wanted those with active consciousness that he warned those with active consciousness that the quantity of vital force required to give the personality relief from either guilt or fear was so great that if it left only a fraction of energy for going about one's tasks. And for Peale, attitudes were more important than facts. So the need for repentance recedes, and positivity, the need to kind of always be thinking positively, particularly about yourself, is ascendant.
I don't think he has a problem with that.
Well, right, but
Yeah.
the point of where does this come from? Where does and now Trump has taken what Peale wrote to absurd extreme, okay? But where's the basis for it? It's always interesting to understand the foundation that undergirds a person's belief. Why do they think the way they do? Where did this come from? What influenced them? And so this is kind of an important piece that I hadn't recognized before, hadn't heard before, this connection between Norman Vincent Peale and Donald Trump, and that Peale's influence through his book and through their, I guess, friendship or association really informed the way that Trump communicates and thinks about himself, and frankly even thinks about himself as the title of this piece implies, a man of faith. So I mean,
So you don't have to go to church to be a man of faith.
Well, I think
Because I don't think he's attending any church services.
Well, I don't know what his church attendance is, but there are a lot of different iterations of faith, some more compelling and consistent than others. But this is, in part at least, the basis of Trump's. And so if you want to understand the man, understand what informs his thinking, and this clearly does. It's just kind of interesting.
No, what do you think? Yes,
I kind of want to take Jay and Lockport, but
you kind of don't, because if you wanted to take him, you would have pressed the button.
Well, it's a little bit of a tangent, but I guess we have the range to make a tangential move here. Jay and Lockport, you're in Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, Dad and Amy.
Morning.
First off, for Norman Vincent Peale, he also suggested that you make for yourself a meat commercial by writing down all of your strengths, all your qualities, everything that's good about you, and then multiply it because you're better than that.
Yeah.
But what I wanted to say...
Yeah, good. Go ahead, Jay.
I wanted to say outside of that, and it is a tangent, that Black Lives Matter represent the average black person just about as much as the Klan represents the average white person.
Okay. That's a drop the mic statement, Jay. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper, hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I have actually been on Balance of Nature for a year now. I have MS, and I recently had an MRI. This is the first year that I've had a stable MRI, so I'm thrilled. When I have an MRI with MS, usually there are glowing spots that come through, which is damage on the nerves in my brain and my spinal cord, and when they're glowing, it means they're active. And then my last MRI, they pulled it up, and I honestly couldn't believe that it was my MRI. There was nothing glowing And in fact, the dark spots were shrinking. They were healing. And the doctor actually said to me, I think we're in remission. I was so happy. I had no idea that that could be my reality.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code CHICAGO.
Scoundrels are not exclusive to politics. They're smart enough to occupy necessity service industries like the automotive business. As a real estate broker, my car is a lifeline and a total necessity to my business and my family, which is why I had to seek out an honest, truthful auto service provider. For over the past decade, I've put my trust in Craigies Mobile Service Center on Lake Street in Addison. Craigies handles full auto repair on foreign and domestic vehicles. They pride themselves on providing you the best cost-effective auto repair and expert advice. Craigies has full service bays and truck lifts that can service and manage your whole fleet. They also provide priority service for your business and can track each vehicle, alerting you to the repair before you need it, keeping your guys on the road. Since 1959, Craigies Mobile Service Center has thrived through 10 presidential administrations, giving you reputable, dependable, and honest auto repair. Do yourself a favor. Just go into Craigies on Lake Street in Addison. See my guy Vic. He'll set you up. Tell him Sean from Elmwood Park sent you. I approve of this message, unlike the two presidential candidates.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up next on Chicago's Morning Answer, President Obama doesn't really need to go to Dallas because they have a strong African-American leader already there. We'll explain. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. We have some clouds out there, 76 degrees, and the president does head to Dallas today to speak at a police memorial service for 5 officers killed in a sniper ambush last week. Dallas resident and former President George W. Bush will also speak at that interfaith service. We could know who Donald Trump's running mate will be by the end of today. Many think it will be Indiana Governor Mike Pence, who's set to introduce Trump at a rally in Westfield this evening.
This country is facing great challenges at home and abroad. I think we need strong leadership supporting our troops, strong leadership to get this economy moving again.
Pence has repeated that he has not been offered the role by Trump. Attorney General Loretta Lynch will face tough questions about Hillary Clinton at a House hearing today. The Justice Department will not pursue charges against Clinton for her email practices while Secretary of State. Police in St. Joseph, Michigan, issuing more details this morning about a courthouse shooting that left 3 dead. Berrien County Sheriff Paul Bailey says an inmate being transferred to the courthouse for a hearing struggled with his police escort and managed to get his hands on a gun.
Our hearts are torn apart. They were our friends. They were my colleagues. I've known them for over 30 years. So it's a sad day.
2 bailiffs were killed and an officer was hurt before the inmate was killed. Theresa May will become Britain's new Conservative Prime Minister tomorrow. But today, Prime Minister David Cameron is chairing his final cabinet meeting before handing over power to his successor. Country music singer Craig Morgan's son is dead in a water tubing accident. It happened Sunday afternoon at Kentucky Lake in Waverly, Tennessee. 19-year-old Jerry Greer's body was recovered yesterday. A person is dead after being pulled from the waters of Lake Michigan. Authorities say crews removed the man last night near 31st Street Beach on the city's south side. Indiana political insiders will soon be picking candidates for races in the U.S. Senate. And a surprise yesterday as nominee Barron Hill announcing he's withdrawing from the race as Democratic officials say former Senator Evan Bayh is expected to make another run for Senate. Chicago sports. Chris Sale leads off for the White Sox against the Nationals and most of the Cub infield tonight as the All-Star game gets underway in San Diego. The news, a service of Staples, with everything you need for back to school at the lowest prices, period, with their 110% price match guarantee. Price match plus the 10% difference on discount valid at checkout for items from retailers operating online and retail stores. See store or staples.com for details. Staples, make more happen. 6:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher is fed up with the lack of action from the Obama administration.
I don't think it's accurate to say that a guy like me is trying to politicize a terror attack. A guy like me wants us to get this right. And every terrorism-hating American should condemn the inability that this administration has to recognize terrorism for what it is.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
It's Galaxy's free sale. Free installation, free design, and free financing.
773-783-8300. Call Galaxy.
Attend the Lake County Right to Life annual benefit banquet Friday, July 22nd from 6:30 p.m. until 9 p.m. at the Doubletree Hilton Hotel in Mundelein. Lake County Right to Life is delighted to have Eric Scheidler, Executive Director of the Pro-Life Action League, as guest speaker this year. Eric is the son of Joe and Ann Scheidler, the founders of the Pro-Life Action League. Eric's keynote speech will address the topic of the only way we will ever end abortion. Lake County Right to Life is also proud to announce that the MC and host for the evening is none other than AM 560's very own afternoon show host and former Congressman Joe Walsh. To register, call 847-223-7022. That's 847-223-7022. Or visit lcrtl.org. That's lcrtl.org. Seating to the Lake County Right to Life banquet is free of charge. However, donations will be accepted at the event.
6:35, Guardian Security Services Traffic Center time. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. We're seeing big delays on the inbound Kennedy. What started as a stall in the express lanes at Chicago Avenue became a collision, and the express lanes are closed from Augusta to Chicago. Traffic is at a standstill in the express lanes from Irving Park. Two left local lanes are now blocked as well. So it's really heavy most of the way in. An hour and 15 minutes O'Hare to downtown. An hour from Montreux. The express lanes are still closed. Outbound with Gapers, 30 minutes downtown to O'Hare. Edens is 21 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 19. The Eisenhower, 45 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. Crash at 25th in the right lane. Outbound it's 34 minutes. The Stevenson, 55 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 27 minutes. 95th to downtown. I-57. 30 minutes, I-80 to the Merge, Bishop Ford 18. Traffic is a service of Staples. Staples has everything you need for back to school at the lowest prices, period, with their 110% price match guarantee. Price match plus the 10% difference discount valid at checkout for items from retailers operating online and retail stores. See store or staples.com for details. Staples, make more happen. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Sunny, windy, warm, humid as well, with a damaging shower or thunderstorm late in the day and into the overnight hours. Flooding rains could happen inside those storms with a high of 87 and a low of 73. Currently 75. Next news coming up at 7. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Turnkey IT, giving you the freedom to focus on your business while they handle the technical stuff. Turnkey IT.
Your money. Find out how to keep more of it and live debt-free. Tonight on The Dave Ramsey Show, starting at 7 on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So, I'm all for having a wide array of media outlets. You know, let 1,000 flowers bloom, as the saying goes. But one of the things that happens with so many media outlets is you hear from a lot of different people, many of whom have no idea what they're talking about. And I guess to some extent
some are interns.
Well,
that somehow make it on the air.
No,
what they're talking about.
No,
or is it worse than that?
No, these are people that have titles and are part of organizations.
The Medill School of Journalism.
Heads of organizations. I mean, it's just incredible. Actually, the funny thing about it, when I think about it, the multitude of these channels, and yet the parameters of informed discussion are relatively narrow. Let me give you an example. A woman named Shannon Watts, she's from this anti-gun group, Moms Demand Action. She tweeted about the courthouse shooting in Michigan yesterday.
Yeah.
In Berrien.
2 bailiffs dead, a deputy shot. Yeah,
right.
Awful.
She tweeted about that shooting. This is the outcome of the NRA's dangerous agenda of guns for anyone, anywhere, anytime, no questions asked.
Does she have any clue what happened yesterday? That the suspect grabbed the bailiff's gun and shot him with the deputy's or the bailiff's gun?
Yeah. It says,
Does she know? Does she have any clue?
Well, she has no clue, clearly. I mean, just as a statement of principle. But that's just one example of what you get. And because people are bombarded from so many sides, it's so difficult to keep up with all of the inanity, all of the misinformation and purposeful disinformation that is projected into social media and is picked up by all of these anchor bots in cable news, including Fox, by the way. It's just so disconcerting. And a local example, Ed Burke, Alderman Ed Burke, the well-regarded chairman of the city finance.
Well, he's, his life's in danger. He has full-time security protection.
There's no question. You never know
who's going to jump on and get Burke. Boo! Ah!
No. You never know
kill him.
Who's going to come up to you and offer some kind of pay-to-play inside deal when you're having lunch at the Union League Club.
Oh, so that's why he needs security.
Yeah, he needs
to make sure no snitches are around.
He needs to, keep, kind of a perimeter around him so that the preferred transactional types can make their way to him. How does an alderman, city of Chicago?
Well, he's also a former police officer.
How does an alderman in the city of Chicago? How does he have $8.5 million in campaign fund?
Wait, how did that happen, Dan? You're in the know.
I'd like to see Ed Burke's tax returns, just like I'd like to see Mike Madigan, since we're talking about powerful politicians and releasing their tax returns. So everybody wants Trump's tax returns released, and I'm one of them, by the way.
I'm one of them too.
I want you to also. I want you to also commit locally, all you Chicago Democrat enablers. Commit calling for Mike Madigan and Ed Burke to release their tax returns too. And that brings me to the point about Ed Burke and raising this in the context of inanity and cheap political theater, craven pandering. Ed Burke proposing an ordinance.
Yeah, it's called the Blue Lives Matter Ordinance. And basically what it is if a firefighter or a Chicago cop is attacked, it should be considered a hate crime. So what does that mean? That means it will stiffen the hate crime penalties. We're increasing fines. Are you ready? From $25 to $500 or from $500 to $2,500. It would also, if the offense is committed against a current or past police officer or fighter or emergency technician, so that would include Ed Burke because he's a former police officer.
Do you think that Ed Burke proposing that ordinance means that Ed Burke and the Chicago Democrats in charge of the city council, in charge of Chicago for the last century, do you think that means they have your backs, police officers, firefighters? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Does Ed Burke have your back? Do you think that these individuals, the Tiny Dancers and the Tiny Dailies and the Tiny Madigans and the Tiny Cullertons and the red-faced Ed Burke,
well,
their law and order, they got your back? Is that right? Let me suggest that if they had your back, we would have the necessary police force in terms of personnel personnel numbers that is required. Let me suggest that your pensions wouldn't be less than 30% funded. Let me suggest that the city of Chicago wouldn't have shooting galleries on the west side and the south side. Let me suggest that they wouldn't be using you as human shields for the decisions they make. Tiny Dancer, Laquan McDonald case, for example. Maybe that has something more to do with having your back or not having your back than does a silly.
I knew you were going to call it silly.
Silly.
Well, some people
ordinance.
think it's mind-numbing, and the ACLU says it's just a distraction and that it's not needed.
ACLU supports hate crime laws, which are a distraction across the board.
But this one,
this is a distraction, but the other hate crime laws are not. All the hate crime laws. Can we just keep it simple? A
crime is a crime?
A crime is a crime. And, it usually doesn't come from a place of love.
No.
I mean,
well,
it's
no,
just
even but look at what
absurd.
happened in Dallas. Even that Jay Johnson, Homeland Security chief, said that's not a hate crime, even though the gunman said, I hate white people and I want to kill white people. But that's not a hate crime. So, I mean, just get rid of hate crimes altogether.
It's absurd. Right? And it's embarrassing. And yet you're going to hear people,
You have to hear this.
you're going to you're going to hear people applaud Ed Burke.
Oh, yeah.
For the
There's
courage.
other aldermen with him.
Well, aldermen.
Alderman O'Shea,
Yeah.
Patrick Thomas, blah,
Right.
blah, blah. But they said that this ordinance, Dan, is going to provide added protection to first responders, because they're attacked sometimes while they're out on the scene trying to protect us.
Yeah, and you think that someone that would attack a first responder is going to say, wait, I was going to continue my lawlessness. I was going to continue expressing my grievance politics through violence. But then I heard about this ordinance that Ed Burke passed that kicks up the fine a few $100, and now I'm not going to.
Blue Lives Matter ordinance.
Honestly, if you are buying any of what Ed Burke is selling, then I guess you're a classic case of someone who gets the representation they deserve. Unfortunately, we all get dragged along with you. George and Moni, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, Dan, of course Ed Burke and the rest of them got your back. That's where your wallet is. But, hey, man, this is a manpower issue, Why don't you have the old cops, protect Ed Burke and Rahm Emanuel and have the young, limber ones take care of the convicts and the street crime?
I don't think that Ed Burke needs protection, just as a matter of principle, but I appreciate your perspective. Thanks, George. Randy in Crown Point.
Morning, guys. To expand the conversation with this idiot Ed Burke, I don't care about a policy like that. It doesn't really matter. But did you see yesterday the councilman in Houston made a comment or a suggestion that we segregate the police force, a black and a white police force? These councilmen are so out of touch with reality. It's their policies that have put us where we are. It's not the police force. It's not the police that are doing this. They're just enforcing the rules and the policies and the laws that they put on the books.
I know you think I'm
Thanks for the
crazy,
call,
but
Randy.
I suggested that at one point in time. You can't have it wasn't a hate crime where he didn't shoot him because he was black, because the police officer was black himself. Sending more African-American officers into African-American communities.
Yeah, so only African-Americans can police African-Americans and only whites can police whites. That's what we're going to do? No, it's not. No. I don't think so. I think it's sad that we have to
Well, did you hear what they
address
did in
these arguments, but I guess we do.
Did you hear what they did last night in, I think, Memphis? No, Atlanta. The police chief and the mayor took some of the Black Lives Matter protesters into a trailer that they had put on the scene just to talk to people to see if that could help bridging the gap between the community and the police officers.
Somebody wrote today in the Tribune.
Oh, wait, was that somebody DP as in Daniel Proft?
One of your favorite commentators, I know. And what Mr. Proft wrote about this is, in terms of hate crimes and everybody's a victim. I'm not a victim because I'm white and some lunatic in Dallas wanted to and did kill white people. Doesn't make me a victim. Dallas murders are not a proxy for the state of race relations in America. They don't represent an epidemic of hate or hate crimes or blacks targeting whites. And this, revolutionary thought. White police officers keep black families safe and black police officers keep white families safe. And let's stop obsessing about race and focus on fundamental issues. People who believe that ends justify the means, including violent means to justify their ends. And people who don't understand that evil can only be counteracted by righteousness, not by Ed Burke's ordinances. Mike in Stone Park.
Hey, good morning. Hey, the Republicans come up with equally stupid stuff. If I remember correctly, back when Jim Edgar was the governor, he came up with something that if you were the driver of a car involved in a drive-by shooting, you would lose your driver's license.
You would lose.
Just
you'd be an accomplice to a crime.
Preposterous.
Well, if you're,
you'd lose more than that.
If you're, well, I don't even remember that, but that is preposterous. If you're the driver in a drive-by shooting, then yes, you're
an accomplice, and you
correct.
face the same charges as the shooter.
Correct.
That's even assuming that the guy has a license. He's probably in a stolen car, and he's shooting at people, but he's worried about his license. Much like this, worried about a little bit extra fine.
Thanks for the call.
It's ridiculous.
It's the same amount of fine as the tobacco fine, the chewing tobacco fine, by the way.
Well, let's see.
Because first-time offense, $25 to $500. Second offense, $25 to $500. Second-time offenders could pay $2,500. It's just like the tobacco law.
What it really is about is self-regarding politicians. And to put an exclamation point on that, Corrine Brown, we mentioned her yesterday. She's the Florida congresswoman who has been indicted on a raft of federal corruption charges for using a bogus charity to to finance her lavish lifestyle. $800,000 in scholarship money raised, $1,200 in scholarship money distributed.
What was her charity? Don't tell me it was Kids with Cancer charity.
It was scholarships. She's pled not guilty. She said in a statement, "Last week was very rough." Congressman Corrine Brown, Democrat from Florida. 2 black men were needlessly gunned down by police. 5 Dallas police officers were slain by a demented man. And on Friday, I had to appear in federal court. I'm not saying which is which is more of a problem. I'm not saying which is more of a terrible coming to pass. Her appearance in federal court, 5 police officers being murdered. I'm not saying which is more important, because certainly Representative Brown isn't. And by the way, the Black Caucus and the Democrats continues to dwindle because Corrine Brown is going to go to jail.
Yes.
And also, you remember Shaka Fata.
Shaka Fata.
From Pennsylvania.
Shaka Fata.
Shaka Fata.
So let me rock you, Shaka Fata.
Let me launder money for you, Shaka Fata.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
I don't know if you heard this yesterday. Shaka Khan and her sister are going into rehab. So maybe a little too soon to sing Shaka Khan.
I feel for her.
She feels for you. And I feel for you for this weather forecast, because it's going to be dicey out there. We're going to have some sun. It's going to be windy and warm, and then the showers and thunderstorms roll in, a high of 87 degrees. Tonight, some heavy thunderstorms that can bring some flooding and damaging high winds. And then tomorrow, no break. We're going to have a couple of thunderstorms around here and some high winds. Once again, a high of 85 degrees. Anything nasty on the roadways? Here's Jim Telemonte.
Yes, Amy. The inbound Kennedy is feeling very nasty this morning. A major crash at Chicago Avenue is just cleared. The express lanes have reopened. So have the 2 local lanes that were blocked, but the damage is done. It is an hour and a half from O'Hare to downtown. An hour and 5 minutes from Montrose, an hour 10 of the express. Outbound 32 minutes downtown to O'Hare. Edens 23 minutes Lake Hook to the junction. Outbound 25 the Ike. 49 minutes Thorndale to downtown. Outbound 34. Stevenson, an hour 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 39 minutes. Bryan is 27 minutes 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-States, though, 95th to 87th. Plainfield Road to the Hinsdale Oasis. At the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Adams Tollway slow from before the Tri-State to the River Road Toll. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
I'm Lou Dobbs. A big day ahead in both corporate earnings and economic reports. Volkswagen looking to stem bad publicity. Qatar Airways has a record year. Those stories next.
Bill Bennett here to tell you about Augusta Precious Metals. What if you could store your IRA or 401k where you can see, touch, and hold it in person in the form of physical gold and silver coins? I know I would, and you can't do that with stocks. With the Augusta Gold and Silver IRA, you can transfer retirement savings into physical coins and store them where you can actually see them. Free shipping, 0 management fees, and Augusta pays all upfront costs. Getting started is absolutely free. Rated A+ with the Better Business Bureau, enjoys a 98% 5-star customer satisfaction rating with TrustLink.org. Trust Augusta. Call toll-free 1-855-222-6993 now for your free guide to Augusta Gold IRAs. Call toll-free 1-855-222-6993. That's 1-855-222-6993. Or visit AugustaPreciousMetals.com.
Two economic reports and more corporate earnings will generate headlines as the day unfolds. The Labor Department unveiling its survey on job openings and turnover will also be tracking the latest on wholesale prices. After bad publicity from its diesel emissions scandal, Volkswagen says it has good news, planning to repay more than $1 billion of loans from the European Investment Bank ahead of schedule. And Qatar Airways, one of the biggest airlines in the Middle East, announcing profits of $445 million for fiscal 2016, a record year. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Is overseas uncertainty making a dent in your portfolio? Is your bank telling you that everything's going to be okay? You don't need to feel like your finances are spiraling out of control. It's time to take a different approach with Online Trading Academy. They'll teach you how to navigate the stock market during these changing times and prepare you for future market fluctuations. Online Trading Academy's certified instructors teach you a rules-based strategy where you'll trade on knowledge, not speculation. So you'll be able to identify market changes before they happen. Reserve your seat today for a free half-day training course at their state-of-the-art education facility in Lombard. Call now 877-682-2442. Mention AM560 and you'll receive a free home video study course valued at $247. Call now 877-682-2442.
If you suffer sinus congestion, trouble breathing through your nose, which gets worse when you lie down, facial pain, and sinus infections, antibiotics, nasal sprays, and steroids can only do so much. I'm Dr. Robert Deitch, and excited to tell you that recent advances in our field have opened exciting new doors. We're leading experts in a newer procedure called balloon sinus dilation that gently expands your natural sinus openings to fix underlying drainage problems. It takes 15 minutes and is performed in our office. Balloon sinus dilation is minimally invasive using local anesthesia and best of all delivers immediate and long-lasting relief. We're board-certified ENT specialists who can help you avoid expensive hospital visits and long recovery times.
For immediate and long-lasting relief from your sinus problems, call ENT Associates today at 847-882-5888 or visit nosinusproblems.com. That's ENT Associates at 847-882-5888 or online at nosinusproblems.com.
I'm Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity. I prefer to describe Jim Comey as a career prosecutor rather than simply the current FBI director. It's his time as a Deputy United States Attorney General and as U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York that makes his decision to be forever remembered as just another Clinton Incorporated cleaner that much more shameful. Such is the pull of the Beltway big government ruling class. Comey's informed deference to politics prompted him to create for Hillary Clinton's exclusive use a new ignorance of the law exemption to complying with federal law. Don't believe me? Try it the next time you're accused of even a technical violation of a truly unknowable diktat from any of the alphabet soup appendages of the administrative state. After such an attempt, you better call Saul. So the Diogenes search in D.C. continues, but so does the slave rebellion in the hinterlands. I am Spartacus.
There are two kinds of pain. Pain that goes away and the worst kind, chronic pain. If you suffer from chronic pain, life is not complete and it can be miserable. Unfortunately, most people use narcotics that mask the pain. You need to find the source of the chronic pain and get relief.
This is Dr. Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. We're serious players in the management of pain, and our team are national leaders as well as being educators in the treatment of pain. We will work with you to diminish or eliminate your pain and help you get your life back. You know, there's a nationwide narcotics epidemic, and people are too quick to mask over chronic pain instead of looking for the cause and treating or eliminating the pain. Contact us. We will help you.
Go to mypainchicago.com. Call and make an appointment with some of the best pain people in the nation, located here in Chicago. mypainchicago.com. You or someone you know suffers in the suffering of chronic pain. mypainchicago.com. Let's make you pain-free.
Hey, sorry I'm late. I'm the chair for the company picnic committee, and I'm overwhelmed with finding the perfect catering partner.
Don't be freaked out by that. Tasty Catering has done our company picnic every year for the last 5 years. I actually went to Tasty Catering's kitchen first to taste the food. They serve juicy burgers right from the grill, fresh salads, awesome sides, and fun foods for the kids. Last year, we even had delicious brisket and an entire pig roast.
Can they handle all the details? There's not much time to plan.
Planning was even easier. Tasty Catering handled every detail, from serving pieces to inflatables for the kids, the DJ, and of course, the bar area.
That's exactly what we're looking for.
Just go to tastycatering.com. The pricing was right, and our CFO signed off on the contract immediately.
The best company picnics start at tastycatering.com. View picnic menus and locations, entertainment options, and more. That's tastycatering.com.
In Chicago this morning, stories we're watching: no more park testing for Illinois high school students. Bond set at $350,000 for an activist arrested in Chicago protest. And a sunny, hot, and windy day. WIND Chicago News Time, 7 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. More than 1,000 people showed up for a candlelight vigil for the 5 Dallas police officers murdered last week. There will be a memorial today. Fox's Gernal Scott live in Dallas.
Dave, the city of Dallas did turn out last night to light candles and hear more about the fallen officers from fellow officers closest to them. Sergeant Michael Smith's partner, Senior Corporal Marcella St. John, said they often talked about choices in their downtime.
Good versus evil, righteous versus unjust. Mike always chose the path of righteousness.
Following today's interfaith service, the president and vice president plan to meet privately with the families before returning to Washington, Dave.
Gernal, shots were fired at police in Washington, D.C. early this morning, but nobody was hurt. 5 people were taken into custody. This follows all the protests over recent police killings of 2 black men in Louisiana and Minnesota. In St. Joseph, Michigan,
One down.
that was police radio from Broadcastify when a prisoner being taken to a court hearing handcuffed in the front grabbed a gun and killed 2 bailiffs and wounded a sheriff's deputy and a woman before Larry Gordon was shot and killed. A 15-year-old has died in Philadelphia, shot in the face late last night as he and 2 other teens were walking away from a playground basketball game.
It just looks like kids that are carrying something from a neighborhood here and just had an opportunity to go after these young men who were leaving the court.
Philly Police Lieutenant John Walker searching for 2 suspects. 2 other teen boys were wounded. The Attorney General could be asked about police and race at a House hearing this morning, and Loretta Lynch will face questions from Republicans like Mimi Walters about this.
Is Hillary Clinton being treated differently than your average person?
This after the Justice Department decided not to charge Clinton for mishandling classified information while using private email as Secretary of State. Now, Clinton and Bernie Sanders will rally together this morning. After a bitter Democratic primary fight, he's expected to endorse her in New Hampshire. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Some clouds, a peak or 2 of sunshine this early morning, 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer, good morning, I'm Mike Scott. Federal prosecutors have recommended a judge impose that same 14-year prison sentence on Rod Blagojevich at his August resentencing that the imprisoned governor received in his original 2011 sentencing. The filing by U.S. attorneys around midnight last night comes after an appeals court struck 5 of the Chicago Democrats' 18 convictions last year. Protesters marching mostly peacefully through Chicago's Loop in another day of demonstrations.
There needs to be reform in the police training, the way police interact with people of color. There needs to be reform in the justice system so that we can make sure that cops who kill innocent people are given the proper punishment.
Chicago saw those 5th day of protest over recent police shootings, but Mayor Emanuel said police protest and respect for police can still coexist. That part of the story from AM 560's David Stewart.
Black Lives Matter organized Monday's protest march, which began with a Millennium Park sit-in, then moved peacefully through the Loop to Federal Plaza before blocking some Loop streets. Mayor Emanuel praised police for their work over the weekend, but said it is possible both to demand police accountability and to respect officers who do their jobs.
This is not a binary choice. You don't have to pick sides to want good policing, safety, and good community relations.
David Stewart, Chicago.
The Illinois State Board of Education says it will no longer administer the Partnership for the Achievement of Readiness for College and Careers standardized test to high school students in the state. It's better known as the PARCC test. The board announcing the controversial test will be replaced by a redesigned SAT. Board of Education officials say the dumping of the test came after major conversations with parents, some administrators, and others. The test, known as PARCC, is supposed to measure college readiness, the board touting the decision as a cutback on standardized testing. However, 3rd through 8th graders will still take the PARCC in the spring. National League and American League gather in San Diego for the All-Star Game. White Sox ace Chris Sale will start the game for the American Leaguers against most of the Cubs infield, who will start tonight for the Nationals. The news service of ADT, the security leader for over 140 years. Trust ADT to protect your home, family, and all you care about. When you have ADT security, it's more than a sign in the yard, it's a line in the sand. Visit ADT.com. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
There's a lot going on in the world. A crazy election, international terrorism, a rocky economy, a state budget crisis. Meanwhile, you're busy. Too busy to wait for some goofy talk show host at another radio station to finish talking about last night's baseball game or yesterday's viral internet video. You need information and what it means. Now, you need answers. That's why we're here with only the news, opinion, and insight you need. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Life can be unpredictable. That's why you should take control of your family's future now with an estate plan bundle from LegalZoom. Not sure whether you need a last will or a living trust? LegalZoom's network of independent attorneys in 48 states can help you decide which one's right for you without billing by the hour, since LegalZoom isn't a law firm. Plus, updating your estate plan as your family and assets grow couldn't be easier. Enjoy your life. Use LegalZoom for the legal stuff. LegalZoom. Legal help is here.
Chances are you've had a tax problem, or know someone who has, or will have one. Bad taxes can happen to good people. Tax Defense Partners has been in the industry for almost 20 years. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, don't wait. Call 800-684-7777 now. Waiting can risk wage garnishing, compounding fees, interest, and more. Don't fight the IRS alone. Call Tax Defense Partners at 800-684-7777.
7:06 in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The inbound Kennedy is super heavy after an earlier crash at Chicago Avenue. It is an hour and 25 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 55 minutes from Montrose, Locals, or Express. Outbound 32 minutes downtown to the airport. Edens is 22 minutes. Lake Hook to the junction, outbound 25. The Eisenhower now 57 minutes. Thorndale to downtown, 42 from Manheim, outbound 54 to Thorndale. Stevenson, 52 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 37. Ryan is 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State, bumper to bumper, 95th to the Hinsdale Oasis with a crash on the right shoulder. Then it's slow from the Reagan Tollway to Grand Avenue. Reagan Tollway slow from York to the Tri-State Veterans Memorial. Slow 75th to the Reagan Tollway and from the Army Trail Toll to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today, windy, warm, and humid with periods of clouds and sun with a shower or thunderstorm around. High today 89. Couple of showers and a heavy thunderstorm tonight with a low 73. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
75 at O'Hare. Next news at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Advanced Planning Advisors, bringing you Smart Money Talk with Mike Moylan and Rob Curvin, Saturday mornings at 6.
Good morning. Welcome to your Tuesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
I don't know what to say. I love my son with all my heart. I hate what he did.
I am the law and order candidate.
The tragedy of this, though, is that there isn't going to be a wall built, and Mexico's not going to pay for it, and there's not going to be a ban on Muslims. The reality is that's not going to happen, and people are going to be deeply frustrated, and the divides will grow in our country.
On Wednesday, I would attend the House of Commons for Prime Minister's questions, and then after that, I expect to go to the Palace and offer my resignation, so we'll have a new Prime Minister in that building behind me by Wednesday evening.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And so Trump is the law and order candidate.
He's a candidate of compassion, too. He said so last night.
Yeah. By the way, I wonder all the people that are voting for Hillary Clinton just because she's a woman, are they also celebrating Theresa May, who is in line to be the next prime minister? She's from the Conservative Party, though. She's just from the Conservative Party in Britain. To be the next prime minister of Britain, as you heard at the top, David Cameron,
very
out tomorrow.
steady hand, they say.
Yeah. Will they celebrate her like the left celebrated Margaret Thatcher, the Iron Lady? Oh wait, of course they didn't, because it's not about gender; it's about ideology.
And who's celebrating Hillary today is Bernie Sanders. People are already lined up to go to that big rally, and I can't wait to see his body language. Is he going to hug her, and to see how he's going to make his case for supporting Hillary Clinton today?
Yeah.
I think they're
he's gonna
free
make his
college
case,
for everybody, right?
He's going to make his case very easily in the way that Bernie Sanders makes all of his cases.
Mm-hmm.
Workers of the world unite. You have nothing to lose but your chains. I assume that will be a version of his speech when he joins forces with Comrade Hillary. Somebody else that had something to say about Hillary Clinton back in 2008 when he was doing these little commentaries as part of his branding was Donald Trump.
Oh, I heard that this morning.
Listen to Donald Trump.
Can't take this back, can you?
This is back in 2000, but between 2004 and 2008, he recorded a daily 60-second commentary that was pumped through hundreds of radio stations across the country. And in advance of 2008, this is March of 2008, and so in advance of the completion of the Democrat primary, here's a Donald Trump's 60 seconds of wisdom on that contest.
With the Democratic presidential nomination far from decided, the candidates were jockeying a little bit recently, talking about a dream ticket. Hillary Clinton said she'd consider naming Barack Obama as her vice president when she gets the nomination, but she's nowhere near a shoo-in. For his part, Obama said he's just focused on winning the nomination, although at least one member of his team said Clinton would make a good vice president. Well, I know her, and she'd make a good president or a good vice president. It's interesting to see what the candidates are doing. They're playing the same kind of power games that you see in any business environment.
Yeah, whatever happens in the presidential race, please don't go back to pumping through 60-second commentaries, radio stations. Oh, my goodness. That was very tough to listen to, but the upshot, of course, is she would make a good president, vice president. This is not a big shock. He's a previous donor. We know about his political promiscuity, and frankly, when we talk about donating to Democrats as a Republican standard bearer, the people that don't like Donald Trump, but, for example, didn't have any problem supporting Bruce Rauner for governor of Illinois, who had raised and donated 7 figures to Democrats over his time as a political player in the private sector. So, the situational ethics with some of this stuff is interesting to note. But for more on this and the state of play and the POTUS race, we're now joined by our friend Tim Carney, senior political columnist at the Washington Examiner. Tim, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I was told I got a 60-second commentary over some music.
Yes.
Are you ready?
Pick your song. I mean, what's...
How about The End of the World as We Know It?
There you go. We can get that for you.
REM, you must be a child of the 80s.
Yes.
Good man.
So, Tim, let me ask you, let me start with this Virginia delegate matter. Virginia judge ruled yesterday that the delegates can vote their conscience at the convention, despite Trump winning the Virginia primary back in March. They don't have to vote for Trump on the first ballot, and this has provided a little oxygen to the flickering flame of the Never Trump movement. How serious is this decision? What impact is it likely to have at the convention?
I would say if you are a Never Trumper, don't get your hopes up too high about this Virginia court decision. Most delegates who want to go along with Trump because he won the popular vote, or at some point in the primaries when Trump had most of the delegates, but maybe only 30% of the popular vote in the in the primaries and with Cruz and Rubio were pretty close, there was an argument you could make that Trump didn't really reflect the will of the Republican primary voters. But this time around, he dominated the late primaries when it was a two-man race. He won with a majority. He beat 16 other candidates. He easily cleared the threshold. He's not coming in with 1,237 delegates. He's coming in with much more than that. And so the fact is that the delegates as a class, there's no sign that any more than a handful of them actually want to pull off what Trump would call a coup. So that's why I wouldn't get my hopes up that this court decision means Trump is really in danger.
But if the Virginia delegates, they had a big win yesterday, do you think other states will be empowered to do the same or to try for the same?
I think you could see it, but also you have to remember that you would need to peel off a good number of Trump delegates. Even those, when they're free, will still vote for Trump. So you need to peel off more than 10% of all of Trump delegates. And in some states, the delegates who are there to vote, who are bound to vote for Trump, are not Trump people. But in a lot of places, either that they were originally Trump people, or you look at them and they say, well, I'm not going to subvert the will of the voters. And so that's one of these things. Different states, the delegates are chosen, and then they're assigned to a candidate by the results. Well, obviously, in Illinois, you guys know the Trump delegates actually are Trump people.
Right.
And that's true in a lot of states.
Yeah, so let's stop tilting at windmills and get to brass tacks here. The VP selection, which is supposed to be announced by a week's end. Mike Pence,
That's
Gingrich.
what all the people sort of with inside knowledge say. They think it's probably Pence. I don't think that's the best fit for Trump.
Who's a better fit?
I think Gingrich is.
Why?
It's hard. This is sort of a weird world we're talking about, where Trump, normally you'd think, well, he should pick somebody with a steadier hand because he's all over the place, and that would be Pence. But he's also down significantly in basically every national poll, and in the Ohio polls and Virginia and most Florida polls. And so you can't sort of play it safe when you're trailing. We remember that was John McCain's calculation when he went with Sarah Palin. He was down. He picked a long shot, and he sort of had to do it. You have to start heaving up three-pointers when you're trailing. And so Gingrich is more able to bring sort of life and vivacity, I think, to a ticket than Pence is. If you've ever seen Pence in action, he had a voting record in Congress that got conservatives excited. He's a smart and thoughtful man, but he's very measured. He's not a guy to take big risks, and he's not a guy who, frankly, is that compelling on television. And so he seems sort of the low-risk pick, low-reward pick from Trump. But on the other hand, it's a high-risk move for Pence because he should be running for re-election. Mm-hmm. And if he joins this ticket, then he's giving up an overwhelmingly favorite path to re-election as governor in order to go to be an overwhelming underdog to the White House.
Well, maybe he doesn't see it as quite the underdog that some in D.C. suggest it is, and this is his only path, or perhaps his first and last best path to the White House himself.
Well, there is a sort of doctrine, a dogma, saying that if you want to be president, you probably shouldn't pass up any opportunities to run for president because they don't come around that often. And Mike Pence obviously wants to be president. Since he was in the House, I mean, all these guys kind of want to be president, but for some of them it's a consuming thing. And for Mike Pence, you could have asked any of his colleagues, even his best friends when he was in the House, and they said he wants to be president. That's why he didn't run for the Senate seat 4 years ago that Dan Coates ran for there in Indiana when Evan Bayh was stepping down. That's why he didn't run against Evan Bayh, and because he thought the governor was a better path to the presidency. Mm-hmm. And so maybe being a failed running mate is a decent path to the presidency in his view, or maybe even the 1 in 5 chance. I mean, that's sort of the odds, the Vegas odds now that Trump wins. 1 in 5 chance of being vice president, he thinks gets him closer. I could see that calculation.
Well, when Donald Trump was campaigning last week, because he's trying out these VP candidates, when he was campaigning with Newt Gingrich, he seemed so excited. He said, this man is going to be excellent in a vice presidential debate. Is Governor Pence a great debater?
So Pence is very smart, and he also is sort of quick on his feet in a way that Paul Ryan was definitely caught off guard by Joe Biden's debate performance. I think Pence would not be. But Gingrich really is unequaled in his ability to harness sort of just regular political rhetoric with sort of showing signs of intelligence. He's very into making sure everybody knows how smart he is, as well as just good rhetorical barbs. I just remember in the presidential debates, 4 years ago, his ability to take on the media, his ability to take on candidates. I always have half-jokingly said, I want Newt Gingrich to be the White House press secretary in any Republican administration. I think he can spar well in any debate, probably better than any of the others that they're talking about.
A letter from Representative Marsha Blackburn and some of her colleagues to FBI Director Jim Comey and the IRS Commissioner and the FTC Commissioner about the Clinton Foundation, the quote-unquote lawless Clinton Foundation that she and others would like to see investigated. There's been some talk about that since Comey's decision last week and his unwillingness to confirm or deny that the Clinton Foundation was still under investigation. Do you see any possibility of any material action coming from any federal agency against the Clinton Foundation between now and November?
Yeah, so the question you're asking is a very different question than do I think the Clinton Foundation was corrupt and involved in quid pro quos for State Department policy, which would be illegal. Yes, I think the Clinton Foundation was.
Of course we know that, just like we know she mishandled classified information.
Yeah.
But
it's okay because she didn't mean to.
Well, yeah, but does the ignorance of the law defense come into play again?
So I got to imagine that Comey wouldn't have done that big sort of exoneration in public if he had something else going on. That would be my guess. But I do want to comment on the email investigation because I think the classified info aspect of it was a secondary issue and perhaps even a distraction from the main issue, which is that by law she was required to preserve all records of her official action. So she wasn't required to preserve her yoga schedule or her yoga appointment, but she was required to preserve all official actions. She didn't do it, and the way she kept the authorities from getting them was by setting up her own email server. Any honest person will admit that's why she set up her own email server. She omitted things from her official schedule that were meetings with donors, like her number one donor, Haim Saban. She intentionally and deliberately avoided public records laws in order to prevent the transparency that's required by law. And one effect of that is that she put classified information at risk. So I think that if you're looking for a clear-cut case that she broke the law, she obviously flouted the transparency laws, and that is not a good sign for an incoming president if they will obviously and blatantly and perpetually flout the laws that allow us as the electorate to know what our government is doing.
Yeah, that's perhaps why Donald Trump's announcement that he's the law and order candidate serves multiple purposes. Tim Carney, senior political columnist at the Washington Examiner. Tim, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Dan and Amy.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Today it's going to be windy, hot, and humid, and we have a chance of a shower or thunderstorm by the afternoon, a high of 87 degrees. Then tonight, some nasty thunderstorms that can bring some flooding and damaging high winds. And the same for tomorrow, a couple of severe thunderstorms, a high of 85. Anything severe on the roadways? Here's Jim Telemonte.
Amy, in downtown Chicago, there's a bicycle-involved collision. State and Van Buren. Inbound Kennedy is really heavy after an earlier crash at Chicago Avenue. It's an hour and 10 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 36 minutes from Montrose, 33 on the Express. Outbound 38 minutes to O'Hare. Eden's 25 minutes Lake Cook to the Junction, outbound 27. The Eisenhower, an hour and 5 minutes. Thorndale to downtown, outbound 55 minutes. Stevenson, 52 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 37. Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State heavy, 95th to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue curve. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
All right, I had the best, most affordable home improvement project done, and it only took 2 hours to transform the darkest room in my house, and it was the addition of a Solitube. And this amazing technology was better than those traditional skylights and the associated problems like leaking. So here's what I did. I spoke with Katie at Chicago Skylight Pros, Chicagoland's Solitude premier dealer. And what a great experience. The natural lighting looks beautiful. My bathroom really seems larger. And it's so simple and inexpensive. Katie from Chicago Skylight Pros did a consultation. I quickly picked out the Solitude system I wanted. And now I have natural light that brightens my home without tearing my roof apart. I highly recommend you brighten your home with natural light using Solitude daily lighting systems. So call my friend Katie at Chicago Skylight Pros, a Solitude premier dealer. Call Katie at 844-789-SHINE, S-H-I-N-E. Mention me and receive $75 off your first Solitude. That's 844-789-SHINE, or visit ChicagoSkylightPros.com to view my video and see the before and after pics. It really is amazing. That's ChicagoSkylightPros.com, ChicagoSkylightPros.com.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing during the decline in the U.S. economy, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-273-0135. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-273-0135 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-273-0135 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-273-0135.
No matter what type of business you're in, having a strong business banking partnership can help your bottom line. I'm Jeff Boundy, president of Cornerstone National Bank and Trust Company. We strongly believe that trust, service, and relationship are the cornerstone of a successful business banking partnership. Customers like Robert Weissite of Robert C. Weissite Company agree.
I appreciate the depth of experience my Cornerstone banker brings to the table. Last June, we located a building we wanted to buy for expansion. My Cornerstone banker walked me through everything I could expect to face in advance, from the letter of intent all the way through the day of closing. It went very smooth and predictably and with low stress. He had been through this type of transaction many times, and his years of experience helped me make my purchasing experience predictable, efficient, and successful.
Thanks, Bob. Please visit cornerstonenb.com, or I invite you to give me a call at 847-654-3000 to explore a business banking partnership.
Equal Opportunity Lender. Member FDIC.
AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up next on Chicago's Morning.
Coming up next is this segment.
You know what? Yeah. Sorry, blonde moment.
Yeah, I understand.
But coming up next is Dan Frost.
Thank you. I appreciate the introduction. It's very nice of you.
Hey, thanks for coming to work today.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you for making it in after you had to do your drop and roll out of your car on the Kennedy.
Car died on the Kennedy. Nobody cares. Pulled up on Canfield, but it's all right. The highway helper, the IDOT, they were in the middle of shift change, so they couldn't help me. But thanks to a woman from Uzbekistan, how do you pronounce it?
That's a fictional country.
She helped.
I don't know.
And some kid named Mike. Uzbekistan? That's where she was from.
Yeah.
She helped me and a kid named Mike with a Illini shirt on. So thank you to them. Because I was about to call Mike from the north side, and I was just begging for somebody to help me. Because I didn't want to get out of my car because I thought I'd get killed.
It's funny. Uzbekistan and a kid named Mike was the name of my high school band. It was a Jay Giles band, cover band. I played a kid named Mike. I was the front man.
No, that's good. I like that.
Tom in Deer Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning. I'm not a Donald Trump supporter, nor will I be voting for him. But I can't help but wonder if they put Dennis Rodman on the ticket for VP, if that wouldn't actually improve or add to the Republican ticket.
Me, because of his foreign policy experience with North Korea?
Absolutely, and the three-point ability and, just the general weirdness. I think it would really help.
No, he was known for rebounding,
Thanks
not
for the
scoring
call, Tom.
points. He was a cleaner. He cleared the boards.
So I wonder, Mark Kirk said he's going to vote for General David Petraeus. He's not going to vote for Trump or Hillary.
But he's going to write in, yeah.
It's interesting. Mark Kirk is going to vote for somebody who admitted that he and pled out.
Right.
Pled guilty to the crime of mishandling classified information. That's the only choice you can come up with if you don't want to vote for Trump or Hillary. Boy,
he stepped in it again, didn't he?
The quality of the thinking.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Hi, Barry Sterner, founder of your #1 home mortgage lender, Townstone Financial. I continue to get calls and emails from homeowners whose interest rates are above 4%. Please do yourself a favor. Take 1 minute. Dial 312-896-2111 or go to townstone.com and let us give you some no closing cost refinance options today. No closing costs means no hidden costs. I guarantee it, and I own the company. Remember, you don't have to restart your mortgage at 30 years or 15. We can customize the payback period. Also, if your home is worth less than what you owe, we still have the Government HARP program, which will allow you to refinance and save money. And anyone who has an FHA mortgage or one with private mortgage insurance definitely needs to call me now so we can lower your monthly mortgage payments due to the recent increase in home values. The call is free and so is my time. So dial 312-896-2111. That's 312-896-2111 or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com. Townstone Financial is an Illinois mortgage licensee 6629 and MLS 136639. Equal housing lender.
Gentlemen, Dan Proft here. When it comes to your health, do you know your numbers? You may know your blood pressure and cholesterol, but do you know your testosterone number? I know my number. Low T Center makes it easy. You walk in, take a simple blood test, and with the convenience of their on-site lab, you'll know your results within minutes. If you have noticed a decline in energy, stamina, or libido, you may have low testosterone. Low T makes you feel tired and grumpy, can raise your cholesterol and cause weight gain. Low T Center's experienced medical staff will educate you on the benefits and risks of testosterone replacement. At Low T Center, services are covered by most health insurance companies, and they have flexible hours for your convenience. So do yourself a favor and call Low T 630-409-4305. Tell them Dan Proft sent you that number, 630-409-4305, or go to lowtcenter.com.
And coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, they don't need President Obama in Dallas. They have Chief Brown. And Chief Brown tells protesters, we're hiring. It's unbelievable. You'll hear it here. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. We're tracking a developing story in Italy this morning where two trains crashed head-on in the southern region of that country. It belonged to a local private rail company. The private rail company is reporting that at least 1 person have been killed when those trains collided head-on. Each train had 4 cars, and they crashed near the town of Andria on a line with just a single track. President Obama will speak at a police memorial service today in Dallas. Former President George W. Bush will also speak at that interfaith service. Likely Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump praising his backing of law enforcement officers.
Our police officers rush into danger every single day to protect our communities, and they often do it thanklessly and under relentless criticism.
At a rally in Virginia yesterday, Trump labeled himself as the law and order candidate, calling Democratic rival Hillary Clinton weak and ineffective. Clinton is expected to get the backing of former presidential candidate Bernie Sanders this morning. We could also know who Donald Trump's running mate will be by the end of the day. Many think it will be Indiana Governor Mike Pence.
This country is facing great challenges at home and abroad. I think we need a strong
These guys could have used hunting rifles, in fact. The big difference between an assault rifle and a hunting rifle is, frankly, the scope that one puts on it, and scopes can be purchased online. So I know that a lot of your guests have been saying that perhaps this is a very planned attack, but in theory, this could have been done on spur of the moment with a hunting rifle.
And what's also interesting, and I did a little bit of research into this and was not aware of it, perhaps I'm sure other people are, you are, that you can go into these gun shops and you can buy adapters, right, which can adapt
to the courthouse for a hearing,
and make
struggled
it
with his
an
police
assault
escort, managed to get his hands on a gun. 2 bailiffs were killed and an officer hurt before the inmate was shot and killed.
Which may have been
Federal prosecutors recommend a judge impose the same sentence, 14 years, on Rob Blagojevich at his August resentencing that the imprisoned governor received at his original sentencing in 2011. Person dead pulled from the waters of Lake Michigan near the 31st Street beach on the city's south side.
it's a clip,
and everyone now is getting in on this new Pokemon Go craze. Even our nation's fighting men and women. U.S. Marines are getting in on the act, tweeting out a photo of a Pikachu, that's a Pokemon, that read, "Get off the firing line, Pikachu. That's a safety violation." Chicago sports, Johnny Cueto facing off against Sox hurler Chris Sale. They're the starters for the Nationals and the American League in the All-Star game tonight in San Diego. The news service of Burger King's grilled dogs. Where are you going to get that delicious grilled hot dog you want? Your backyard? Nope. Burger King. Burger King's grilled hot dogs made with 100% beef, flame grilled to perfection. Pick up a grilled dog today at participating Burger King restaurants. Flame grilling hot dogs since 2016. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager believes the GOP is missing a huge opportunity.
That has been the great failure of the Republican Party, not to talk about the damage the left does. They talk about individuals, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, doesn't mean a thing. If you support the left, you are supporting the damaging, perhaps irreparably, of the society. I know you mean well, and it doesn't matter.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Here Maps, the app that turns your phone into a car navigation system with offline maps and turn-by-turn guidance. Get it now at here.com/guide.
If you're looking to improve your child's academic education and attitude toward life, Christian Liberty Academy, based in Arlington Heights, has provided thousands of children in preschool through 12th grade with a superior, accredited, and affordable Christian education since 1968. The Academy offers a spacious and well-equipped campus, dynamic math and computer classes, art and music instruction, as well as comprehensive sports programs and after-school care services. The teaching staff at Christian Liberty is comprised of people who take a genuine and personal interest in each of their students and make it a point to give them the individualized attention that they need. Call the Academy at 847-385-2013 to schedule a tour or visit ChristianLibertyAcademy.com. That's ChristianLibertyAcademy.com. Don't let another week go by before you get serious about finding the proper school environment for each of your children. The summer is slipping away and registrations are filling up fast in many grades. So contact Christian Liberty Academy today and give your children a great foundation for learning and for life.
They called it elephant skin. It was rough, wrinkly, like a Brillo pad.
His hair was falling out in clumps.
Petey stopped eating and all his hair fell out.
Our golden retriever, Sundance, he scratched incessantly. There was hair all over.
DINOVITE.com.
859-428-1000.
The omega-3 fatty acids, flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa, the digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food.
Dinovite is nutrition.
Within 2 weeks, the shedding slowed down to almost none. The scratching went away after a few days, and Sundance's coat was starting to get shiny and glossy.
It's a 180 turnaround. His skin has cleared up. He's not in pain.
If your dog has shedding, dry skin, excessive scratching, do the Dinovite.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000. Dinovite for life.
DINOVITE.com.
7:37 in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Inbound Kennedy delay started Harlem, 57 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 40. The Edens is 25 minutes. Lake Cook to the Junction, outbound 27. The Ike, an hour and 5 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, outbound it's an hour. Stevenson looking at 52 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 37. The Ryan is 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound slow 21 to 176. Northbound 95th to 31st, and from the Reagan all the way to Grand Avenue, Veterans Memorial stop and go. 159th through Archer with a crash on the left side, and 75th to the Reagan Tollway and North Avenue to 290. Traffic service of Burger King's Grilled Dogs. Where are you going to get a delicious grilled dog? Your backyard. No, Burger King. Burger King grilled dogs are made with 100% beef, flame grilled to perfection. Pick up a grilled dog today at participating Burger King restaurants, flame grilling hot dogs since 2016. Traffic Answer is when you need them most. Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Windy, warm, humid. Maybe a heavy shower or thunderstorm this afternoon and into the overnight hours. High 87 and a low of 73. 76 right now. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Power Trading Radio. Heard Sundays at 2 p.m. Brought to you each week by Online Trading Academy.
When you've got questions, he always has an answer. It's Sean Hannity this afternoon at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so President Obama is in Dallas today to talk about gun control and give one of his pro forma speeches, similar to, I suspect, what he offered over the weekend, where he said the country is not as divided as some would have you believe.
You don't think he's going to bring up gun control at the Interfaith Memorial Service today in Dallas, do you?
Oh, I think he'll certainly make less than subtle references to gun violence and those sorts of things.
Well, I don't know how that's going to sit with the Bushes, because in the front row is George W. Bush, First Lady or former First Lady Laura Bush. Michelle's going with President Obama. Joe Biden, Jill Biden are going as well.
Yeah. Do you think that he is any compunction about such an event, and what is proper or improper, what is tactful or what is tactless? I don't see that, so I suspect there will be references to that. And frankly, does he need to be in Dallas? Does Dallas want him there? I think they've got a pretty good handle on it. The civilian leadership in Dallas, along with the police leadership in Dallas, seems to be handling this very well. They're certainly handling the communication nationally, internationally very well, and that starts with the mayor. And it also starts with their police chief, David Brown.
Yeah, David Brown, who's no stranger to pain, losing his brother in a homicide. His son was shot down by Dallas police officers after his son shot and killed a Dallas police officer. But what he said yesterday when he was speaking to a group of individuals brought a tear to my eye, because he nailed it. He not only is he's not pumping the victims' family members with false hope, he means what he says.
Families, we love you. We love you with everything we have. We are now your surrogate family members. We're your brothers and your sisters. When you need us, you call. Because we'll not only be loving you today, we'll be loving you always. Always, till the end of time. We'll be loving you until you are me and I am you.
I mean, what a profound, heartfelt thing to say, because that's what they need to hear right now. And they need to know that everyone in the Dallas police force is their brother or sister now, and that they're here for them. They don't need President Obama to come there and speak. And President Obama said he was invited by the Dallas mayor. That's why he's doing it. And then he's going to meet privately with victims' family members. But they already have a strong African-American leader in Dallas. I don't think Chief Brown should be speaking and delivering the eulogy, and I hope he is at this interfaith service. But, I mean, I know Obama's already on his way this morning, but you can't top that real, genuine compassion that he has.
And here's where it comes from. We talk about foundations. Where do people get their worldview? Where do they get their sense of decency or the lack of it? What is a person's foundation? Because it informs the decisions they make, the views they advance. And Chief David Brown also said this over the weekend on CNN with Tapper. I'm a servant at my core. I enjoy serving people, and I'm a person of faith. I'm a Christian. And I believe that service is part of my direction, and loving people despite themselves is something I aspire to be. I am flawed, though, like many of us. So that's just worth noting in this age of anti-religiosity, number one, and number two, with the left's drumbeat against Christianity and invoking Christian bigotry to explain all of the world's ills. When you heap plaudits on Chief David Brown for how he has handled this matter and how he has communicated about the shooting from the time that it happened to present, and the sense of calm that he projects.
And he also
the
had
sense of command that he projects. Understand from whence that comes. Robert in Northbrook, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, I'm amazed at the way you could be critical of Obama and Bush and Biden and these people who are showing up there to show their respect and to show the magnitude of the situation and to call attention to it. I mean, my God, if he came up with a cure for cancer, you'd criticize him.
No, I mean, I was just saying the Bushes are going because they live in the Dallas area and they're paying their respect, but they're not speaking. And President Obama is speaking, but I don't think he needs to because Chief Brown can do it for him. And he took the communication advanced it one step further yesterday after he made that beautiful statement. He talked about the protesters. They have a right to protest, but he's letting them protesters know that we are hiring over here at the Dallas Police Department.
Become a part of the solution. Serve your communities. Don't be a part of the problem. We're hiring. We're hiring. Get off that protest line and put an application in.
Yeah, well, that's something we can't. A couple things. One, that's something we can't say in Chicago because Chicago Democrats have decimated the city's finances. That we're hiring police officers.
Good point.
That's interesting. Number two, with respect to don't be a part of the problem and put an application. It'd be interesting to do a little bit of a survey to see how many of those that are taking the approach of being a part of the professional agitation crowd, how many of them would actually qualify to be a police officer? In other words,
how many even?
In other words, not have a criminal background, have an associate's degree, if not a college degree. But also, with respect to not being part of the problem, seems to me, you're talking about foundations.
Mm-hmm.
We have to go to the foundation of D. Ray McKesson and some of these other professional agitators as well. Where do they go? What do they really want? Where are they really
trying
coming
to accomplish?
From? And it's not just limited to the left. We have some demagogues that identify on the right as well, unfortunately. But do you want a race war? Is that what you're getting?
Yeah,
at?
that's
Is
what
that
they
you
want.
Well, I'm not sure, but I think the question should be asked. I don't
But
want
they have
one.
a problem with their cause when they have strong African-American men like Chief Brown who tries to put them in their place. And he's not even trying to put them in their place, but by what he's saying, he is. And we have to see it for what it is. They are agitators.
They don't want to discuss black on black crime. They don't want to acknowledge the percentage of minority police officers and the work that they do. They don't want to acknowledge simple facts like white police officers protect black families and black police officers protect white families. They don't want to acknowledge any of that. They don't want to talk about the data. They want to engage in the sentimentalism, the sentimental barbarism that you see on some of their signage and with some of their chants, a la pigs in a blanket, fry 'em like bacon.
Yeah. Well, 312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. You
And one thing about what Robert from Northbrook said about politicians showing up, spare me the histrionics and the feigned exasperation about President Obama showing up. It's fine if politicians want to show up and pay their respect. We'll see how politicized President Obama is today with his remarks. I suspect there will be an element of that, as we've seen before in the wake of shootings from President Obama. But also, maybe if these politicians weren't so ubiquitous and weren't so craven in their pandering, then when a truly horrific event comes to pass and they can provide some leadership, the way that, for example, Rudy Giuliani provided leadership after 9/11, or frankly, as you mentioned, Amy, the way that Chief David Brown has provided leadership in the wake of the murder of 5 officers. Maybe then they would actually have the standing morally and within the body politic to offer commentary. Maybe people would actually look to them rather than be repulsed by them because of their history of pandering and appealing to the lowest common denominator and offering cheap solutions. Maybe, Robert from Northbrook, you should consider that before you just give a hat tip to the politician who shows up to make a pro forma speech and pretend like they are part of doing something important to remedy these ills that afflict our society. Maybe that's worth consideration. Let's go to Dawn and Wheeling here on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Well, just two things on the sides of fairness. If Obama never showed up, people would be criticizing him for that too, but I really don't care one way or the other. I was under the impression that Bush was going to speak, and I think that he should speak so that the people can see the contrast between what a real leader responds to in a crisis and what Obama does.
Thanks for the call, Don.
He should speak to because he lives in that area. I mean, he lives in Dallas. Those are his police officers. That's his state.
Ralph and Rantoul.
Good morning. I would love to see a flood of applicants come in from the Black Lives Matter crowd for positions in the police department. And those that aren't allowed to possess weapons because of felony convictions, maybe they could be meter readers or something like that, or community policing. That's assuming, of course, they can also get past the urine test and pass the drug screening.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Ralph. Maybe they could run for Congress. Phil on the north side.
Yeah, I hate to see Obama go down, or he's just going to cause more disruptions. Every time he goes and gives a speech, it's about him, his agenda, or protecting some bombers, some shooters, some racial situation, and he just disrupts things more. I'd like to see, like the last caller said, people go apply. It's ironic they've squashed all the felonies for drug cases nationwide, and they're making these people cops. Anybody who's been in a gang and has drug felonies. I just like to see how it all turns out. I hate to see him even go down there. It's just going to cause more problems.
Thanks, Phil. Will and Skokie.
Good morning, guys. The thing is, you got to remember, going back in history, which people rarely do these days, the first thing where, the president was criticizing police officers for acting stupidly
Beer Summit.
was when that police officer arrested that professor, and the professor was basically acting stupidly himself, standing on his rights as opposed to listening to what the police officer said and complying with the police officer's lawful orders. So this whole thing's been going for years. Secondly, I'm going to start giving any kind of a credence to Black Lives Matter when they start going after these kids that are killed on the South Side every weekend.
Thanks, Will. Thanks, Will.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Some clouds right now, and we could have some showers or thunderstorms rolling in here by this afternoon, a high of 87 degrees. Tonight, the stuff can get nasty, bringing flooding and damaging winds. And tomorrow, a couple of severe thunderstorms as well, a high of 85 degrees. Let's get those travel times. How's the outbound Kennedy doing? Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Well, it's certainly better than inbound. Outbound, we're looking at delays from Fullerton to Harlem. It's 45 minutes downtown to O'Hare. Inbound, 57 minutes. That's actually a big improvement. There was an earlier crash at Chicago Avenue. It's 35 minutes from Montrose. No savings in the express lanes at all. The Edens is 25 minutes. Lake Hook to the Junction. Outbound 27th. The Eisenhower. An hour and 5 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. 48 minutes from Manheim. Outbound, it's an hour to Thorndale. Stevenson, 52 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 40. Ryan is 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound heavy, 21 to 176. The northbound delays are from 95th to 31st and from the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue curve. Eastbound Adams Tollway bottled up 25 to Higgins after a crash. Veterans Memorial very slow from 159th to Archer with a crash now on the left shoulder, and 75th to the Reagan Tollway and North Avenue to 290. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
Hey, ChicagoRadioDeals.com can help you spiff up your home and auto. Wash away the road grime and dirt with a great deal from Fuller's Car Wash of Elk Grove Village. A full-service car wash package includes a wash, vacuum, windows, dash wipe down, an $18 deal for $10. Give your home the clean it needs with an excellent deal from the Grout Medic of LaGrange. The Grout Medic offers a shower touch-up that includes a steam clean of your shower tiles and grout, or choose a clean and color seal floor package for your kitchen or bathroom floor tile. Each deal is $110 and has a $250 value. Or shop at a great local hardware store with personal customer service. Purchase the Addison Building Materials $100 gift certificate for only $50. Addison Building Materials is a true value retailer. Tackle your home improvement projects with help from ChicagoRadioDeals.com.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
And now, a moment of objectivism with Yaron Brook and the Ayn Rand Institute.
When philosopher and novelist Ayn Rand was interviewed on the Johnny Carson Show in 1967, Carson asked her if she believed in God. She said simply, "No, I do not." Ayn Rand rejected religion and laid out a code of morality based on reason, not faith. When asked to describe her philosophy, she said, quote, "I am the creator of a new code of morality, which so far has been believed impossible. A morality not based on faith, not on arbitrary whim, not on emotion, not on arbitrary edict, mystical or social, but on reason. A morality which can be proved by means of logic, which can be demonstrated to be true and necessary." Find out more about Ayn Rand's revolutionary philosophy at ariradio.com. From the Ayn Rand Institute, I'm Yaron Brook.
This has been a moment of objectivism from the Ayn Rand Institute. To learn more, listen to the Yaron Brook Show, Saturdays at 4 on AM 560, and visit ariradio.com.
Why are Ayn Rand's ideas so compelling? Her worldview, her philosophy, expressed dramatically in her novels Atlas Shrugged and The Fountainhead, embodies the ideals stated by the Founding Fathers in the Declaration of Independence and sets forth the requirements necessary to achieve a flourishing life. She called her philosophy objectivism and said it was a philosophy for living on Earth. Today, decades after her death, objectivism continues to stir debate and inspire passion for the spirit of individualism and the enduring American dream.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I had gout in both my knees, and it's gone.
Well, I'm pretty stupid. I should have ordered it 15 years ago. Best thing I ever got in my. It's the most effective product that I've ever bought in my life.
He had eczema on his hand, and it cracked for years. He did anything from doctor, every cream, everything. And 3 months on the veggies and fruit, it was gone.
They're just awesome. They keep asking me, what am I doing? I told them what I did with my cholesterol. I had the blood test, right? And it went down 100 points. 262, now it's 162. Everything is just perfect.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Call now, 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
Safer USA, Chicago's most trusted name in firearm training, is offering beginners classes, tactical pistol and rifle, long-range rifle to 600 yards, and the most comprehensive Illinois concealed carry program available. AM 560 On Target Radio co-hosts David Lombardo and Gretchen Fritz will prepare you to carry a firearm for personal protection, including firearm, holster, and ammunition selection. A comprehensive law review designed to keep you out of trouble and even how to deal with home invasions. Firearm, ammunition, holster, class notebook, and lunch are provided. Safer USA and the Aurora Sportsman's Club invites you to participate in this one-of-a-kind Illinois concealed carry program that also qualifies you for Florida, Utah, and Arizona non-resident permits. Find out what over 6,000 students already know at saferusa.com.
Or call 815-741-3474. That's 815-741-3474. Safer USA. Choosing to own a firearm is your business. Teaching you to own it responsibly is ours.
If you want to work until you drop, reduce your standard of living in retirement, or lose more of your hard-earned money in the stock market, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to generate a steady, predictable income, I'm talking real wealth and financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. A free report is now available that reveals the money-making secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. It reveals how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and wealth-building power without risking your money in the Wall Street casino. To get your free special report, visit bankonyourself.com. bankonyourself.com. That's bankonyourself.com.
If you're serious about selling your home, now's the time. Supply is low, and it's a great seller's market in many Chicagoland neighborhoods. This is Michael Medved, and I've done some research, and along with my Salem radio colleagues Mike Gallagher and Dennis Prager, we all recommend that you call Saul. Saul Z and the Z team are so good that if they don't sell your home in 59 days, they'll sell it for free. Guaranteed. Saul is ranked 106 out of 1.2 million agents by the Wall Street Journal. His proven marketing system is so effective that he sells on average a home every single day. Now, he does it by attracting multiple full-price offers that increase demand and help sell your home fast and at the highest price. It's a no-brainer. If I were selling a home in Chicagoland, I'd call Saul. Go online to callsaul.net. That's callsaul, S-A-U-L.net. Or call Saul now at 888-346-0666. That's callsaul.net or 888-346-0666. You'd better call Saul.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Iran to open the world's largest bookstore. I wonder how big the Salman Rushdie section will be.
And later, who's going to be Trump's VP? But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, protesters continued overnight to march in downtown Chicago. Clinton and Trump campaigning and fundraising in Illinois. WIND Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. Their loved ones were murdered.
We love you with everything we have. We are now your surrogate family members.
Dallas Police Chief David Brown at a vigil for 5 slain officers. There'll be a memorial today. Fox's Gernal Scott live in Dallas.
Dave, the Dallas community heard stories and emotional words from city officials at the vigil last night, but many touching words came from people who knew the officers best, their partners. Officer Josh Rodriguez paid tribute to his partner, Patrick Zamarripa.
Outside of work, people could not help but to feed off of his positive energy and enjoy his goofiness or his heartwarming smile.
Now, today's interfaith service is a private affair in Dallas to be attended by President Obama and former President George W. Bush, who will both make remarks, Dave.
All 5 people are in custody in Washington, D.C., accused of shooting at police early this morning, but no one was hurt. This amid protests nationwide over police killings of 2 black men in Louisiana and Minnesota.
I'm fearing for my own life out here any day.
She's in Philadelphia. Late last night in Philly, 3 teens were shot leaving a basketball game. One was hit in the face and died. Police are still searching for suspects. House Speaker Paul Ryan gets told no. Director of National Intelligence James Clapper says he won't deny any presidential nominee a security clearance. Republicans asked Hillary Clinton be denied after the FBI found she was reckless handling classified info in private emailing while Secretary of State. Now, Clinton will unite this morning with her former rival in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, where Fox's Bill Marcus is live.
Dave, a poll shows 85% of Sanders supporters are prepared to support Hillary Clinton. Here at the Portsmouth High School, the line is around the building for what most expect will be a full-throated endorsement by Bernie Sanders of Hillary Clinton. Everybody's got a Hillary sticker on. One Sanders supporter telling me he came over to the Clinton side as soon as he saw where the votes were going in the primaries. Dave?
2 trains have crashed in Italy. A head-on collision, at least 20 people are dead. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Clouds and sunshine, 76 degrees. It is 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Federal prosecutors recommending a judge impose the same 14-year prison sentence on Rod Blagojevich at his August resentencing that the imprisoned governor received at his original sentencing in 2011. It was a late-night filing by the U.S. Attorney's Office. It comes after an appeals court judge struck down 5 of the Chicago Democrats' 18 convictions last year. Protesters marching peacefully through Chicago's Loop in another day of demonstrations over police methods sparked by the fatal shooting of 2 black men by officers in Minnesota and Louisiana.
There needs to be reform in the police training, the way police interact with people of color. There needs to be reform in the justice system so that we can make sure that cops who kill innocent people are given the proper punishment.
A man who joined the protest sparked by the fatal shooting of those 2 black men is now being held in lieu of $350,000 bond for striking a Chicago police officer and trying to disarm another. 20-year-old Jamal Green is charged with aggravated battery and an attempt to disarm an officer and resisting arrest. The Illinois State Board of Education says it will no longer administer the Partnership for the Achievement of Readiness for College and Career Standardized Test, or PARC test, to high school students. However, In Chicago, that decision was made. It still applies, however, they say, to 3rd through 8th graders who will take the park in the spring. All-Star game tonight. Sox ace Chris Sale will face off against San Francisco hurler Johnny Cueto, and most of the Cubs infield voted in as starters for the Nationals tonight in the All-Star game. The news is service of ADT, the security leader for over 140 years. Trust ADT to protect your home, family, and all you care about. When you have ADT security, it's more than a sign in the yard, it's a line in the sand. Visit ADT.com. 8:04, time for the AM 560 Business Beat from the Fox Business Network and a service of Turnkey.pro. Here's Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, AMC Entertainment is buying British-based movie theater chain Odeon and UCI Cinemas Group. The company's the biggest theater chain in Europe. AMC is already in the process of acquiring Carmike Cinemas. Apparently, the dip in the British pound makes the deal a bargain. AMC acknowledges there are uncertainties related to Brexit, but currency rates are highly favorable for AMC. Small businesses are more optimistic about the economy. The National Federation of Independent Business says its Small Business Optimism Index increased in June to the highest level since November. Amazon.com is promising 100,000 deals today. It's Prime Day. Walmart is countering, offering its own deals with a 30-day free membership to Shipping Pass. Amazon came back with a 30-day free membership to Prime. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
8:05 in Chicago. Time to check the climate of your business with aircomfort.com, providing the right climate for business since 1935. A check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity can't believe the president is still bringing in Syrian refugees.
I said that if one person dies as a result of Hillary and Obama's policy, they'd have blood on their hands. I hold them responsible because they're not listening to James Clapper, James Comey, Michael Steinbeck, the House Homeland Security Chairman, and all these other people. They refuse to listen to them.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Focus. You need it to run a business, so don't let legal questions distract you. Use LegalZoom instead. Things like lease agreements and employment laws get complicated, but they're part of running a business. That's why LegalZoom built a network of independent attorneys in 48 states. You can rely on them for the legal details without paying by the hour, since LegalZoom isn't a law firm. So focus on growing your business and use LegalZoom for the legal stuff. LegalZoom. Legal help is here.
Chances are you've had a tax problem, or know someone who has, or will have one. Bad taxes can happen to good people. Tax Defense Partners has been in the industry for almost 20 years. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, don't wait. Call 800-684-7777 now. Waiting can risk wage garnishing, compounding fees, interest, and more. Don't fight the IRS alone. Call Tax Defense Partners at 800-684-7777.
8:07, Guardian Security Services Traffic Center time. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Eastbound Eden Spur, it's slow past Waukegan Road. Then the Edens has delays starting again at Foster. 25 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 35. The Kennedy is 1 hour from O'Hare to downtown, 38 minutes from Montrose, 33 in the Express. Outbound 50 minutes to the airport. The Eisenhower, an hour and 15 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, outbound an hour 5. Stevenson, 52 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 40. Ryan is 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State, southbound slow Washington to Atkinson, northbound 95th to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue curve. Adams Tollway delays from the Fox River to Beverly, Veterans Memorial, 159th to Archer, Fountain to the Reagan Tollway, and from the Army Trail Toll to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Here is meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Clouds and sun today with a shower or thunderstorm around. High 89, then a couple of showers and a heavy thunderstorm tonight, which could bring flash flooding and damaging winds. Low 73. Couple of thunderstorms tomorrow. Some may be severe. High 85. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
76 right now. Next news coming up at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Money Hour Radio Show, Saturday afternoons at 3 on AM 560 The Answer. Brought to you by Pure Shale Financial Group.
Good morning. Welcome to your Tuesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
I don't know what to say. I love my son with all my heart. I hate what he did.
I am the law and order candidate.
The tragedy of this, though, is that there isn't going to be a wall built, and Mexico's not going to pay for it, and there's not going to be a ban on Muslims. The reality is that's not going to happen, and people are going to be deeply frustrated, and the divides will grow in our country.
On Wednesday, I would attend the House of Commons for Prime Minister's questions, and then after that, I expect to go to the Palace and offer my resignation, so we'll have a new Prime Minister in that building behind me by Wednesday evening.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. You have an editorial correction?
Yes.
Okay, what?
Not only is President Bush speaking at the Interfaith Service today in Dallas, but also former President George W. Bush will be speaking as well.
You mean President Obama is speaking and President George W. Bush.
Did I even? All right, can I have a correction on the correction?
Yes, we only.
But yeah, before we thought
time.
that he was just sitting in the audience, but he is going to be speaking as well.
Yeah, and should Obama attend? Should he not attend? That's kind of secondary for me. It's just the quality of the content that he will provide is more interesting, and that's something to be circumspect about.
And I hope that he focuses on the police officers. I mean, it was the deadliest day for police nationwide since 9/11.
Yeah, and parents of the man who murdered those 5 Dallas officers spoke. This is an exclusive that Glenn Beck's outlet, The Blaze, got.
Yeah, how did they get that? Did they pay for that interview?
Well, I have no idea. I don't know. They suggest that the Blaze staffer that interviewed them, the family saw him on TV and they made connect somehow.
Oh.
Anyway, the full interview is not going to be delivered. It's not going to be available for viewing until tomorrow night. But they provided 2 snippets, one from the shooter's dad, the other from the shooter's mom, and interestingly, the shooter's stepmom was also there. And the shooter's stepmom happens to be white.
Oh.
Just an interesting note. Here's the dad trying to make sense of it, and he can't make sense of what his son did.
I don't know what to say to anybody to make anything better. I didn't see it coming.
Talk about Micah, honey. He was a good son. He was a good son.
I love my son with all my heart. I hate what he did.
And
It's just heartbreaking.
And I think it's and one of the things here is another area where I think some restraint is warranted in terms of a quick trigger, if you will, on blaming parents, blaming family members. Would you blame Chief David Brown for his son's decision to murder a police officer? No.
Never. But they did. But the only, point of contention for many people is that the Army, the parents alleged, changed him. That when he came back from serving in Afghanistan, that he was a different person. He was a recluse. He started studying Black history.
Well, studying.
That's what they said yesterday.
Well, yes, but studying Black history is not some red flag. The father, at least according to the Blaze characterization of the interview, suggested, he got more interested in history and the history of Black people. But that's not the same. And he's an adult. That's not the same thing as, dad is responsible for monitoring his Facebook page and to which groups he's liking, and dad is responsible for what he's reading. If there were, it sounds like to me, I mean, I don't know this gentleman, but it sounds like he's pretty torn up about it. He certainly is not condoning in any way what his son did or trying to rationalize it away by his military experience, at least not in that snippet of the interview they provided. And so I just kind of pull the reins a little bit before we start saying everybody's responsible, whoever came into contact with him, starting with his parents. I don't think that's fair. And based on what we know to this point, it's not accurate. So that's the father. Here's the mother, as you previewed, Amy, talking about his experience, her son's experience in the military, and how that impacted him.
Did he ever talk about any of his experiences in the military that maybe made you question, did something happen? Was it the war? Or?
I don't remember anything. I don't remember anything about it. The military was not what Micah thought it would be.
It disappointed him.
He was very disappointed, very disappointed. But it may be that the ideal that he thought of our government, of what he thought the military represented, it just didn't live up to his expectation.
Well, one of the questions I hope is asked in this interview, and I don't know if it was or not, is with respect to his military experience, okay, he thought it was going to be one thing, it was something else. He thought there was going to be one standard of excellence, and it wasn't, or something like this. There's also the issue, though, that's been reported that he was accused of sexual harassment of a female enlistee, right, female soldier, and so was there a element of disgrace that led him to feel that the experience in the military wasn't what it should have been, and what's the basis for the allegations of sexual harassment against this Dallas shooter? I mean, that's an important part of it too.
Yeah, it sounded like from what the Blaze released so far that they did not that we don't know at this point in time if they know that he was honorably discharged and for what. If there was reports out yesterday too that he was stealing panties from fellow female soldiers, and that ABC had reported that it was an attempted sex assault as well as sexual harassment. And he hired an attorney that got him an honorable discharge instead of just discharged.
Right.
For his actions.
Well, so it'd be interesting to get the parents' perspective on all of this that's swirling around and their offering of what they believe to be true about all of this. So that interview will be aired in full
but also
tomorrow night.
If you're a parent and you know that something's wrong with your son once he gets back, that he possibly has PTSD, that he's looking into Black Power movement groups, do you say something? Do you try and get him help? If he's, he used to be an extrovert. Then they said he came back and he was a hermit, and he was would not communicate. It was hard to talk to him. I mean, then do you step in and try to help your son?
Well,
I mean, does he have a mental illness, or did the Army create this problem with his PTSD, or is this something he brought upon himself?
Well, the Army didn't create anything.
Well, okay. But that experience he had.
Right. So, I mean, those are all fair questions.
And he is 25 years old. I mean, he's not a kid.
Right. And there's no indication of any of this except that somehow evil was in his heart and it got to his gray matter and he took action in furtherance of evil. And that's perhaps the more important but more difficult discussion. Sean in Elmwood Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
I can't keep track. So feeling panties, that's wrong, but wearing them, we're good with, right? You get special funding for that. Listen, I more than the Oswald bite on the shiny object of the week, I'm calling because I'm annoyed with this clip you keep playing on the news about Mr. Law and Order candidate. So you're the law and order candidate. Unless it's contract law, we don't like that. And unless the order is who gets paid as an investor, you don't like that either. And as far as this whole vice president, whether it's Pence, can you explain it to me, Dan, because you're in on all this Indiana politics. See, Pence to me was a step-and-fetch congressman who every once in a while wanted to be a conservative and may vote against something after he knew it was certain to pass. I think he's taking credit for the other guy, Kazoo. I forget his name, with the big head, the short kid. Mitch Daniels, right? Wasn't that his name?
Yes, he was. Yes, the governor. Yes.
Why doesn't he just pick Carlton Sheets? It'll round the ticket nicely. Carlton Sheets was actually more successful at scamming people than Trump University.
All right,
he
Sean.
had better credos at real estate. So let's just get Carlton Sheets or Kevin Trudeau just because I want to see John Cass get all fired up again.
And let's stay on topic. Thanks for the call, Sean. Candace in DuPage.
Good morning. This is my thought on the son of, the sniper. I think when you go to the military, they have strict rules of conduct. And I think that even though he had two parents, this may be the first time he's ever been shamed and corrected. And I think it was a huge, massive correction that totally, I just think it was, that's why he doesn't like the military, because he was completely shamed. He was dishonorably discharged.
He
All
wasn't
his friends
dishonorably
knew what he did.
discharged. He was not dishonorably discharged. He was honorably discharged.
Oh, okay. That's what I heard yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, thanks for the call, Candace. I don't know.
I can't wait to hear the rest of the interview.
I'm so resistant to this kind of,
What, turning your kids in?
No,
You
I'm
think there's
resistant to wild conjecture. That's what I'm resistant to. We just don't know enough. A couple of texters texting in about the sisters posting on Facebook, posted hateful statements about the police. There's one thing to post a statement, an ignorant statement. A lot of people do it. A lot of people post ignorant statements on social media. It doesn't mean that
Dan,
they are.
who are you talking about?
I'm just, there's a lot of people. I follow Twitter. I'm on Facebook. There's a lot of people who do that. It doesn't mean that they are a threat to public safety or to police officers or to anybody else. It's very easy to do the 20/20 hindsight. That's all I'm saying. Steve on Hinsdale, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yes, I have a brief background in the administration of mental health services. I served as the director of community mental health for one of our more prestigious counties here in Chicago. I was the top man, so I know a little bit about the field.
Okay.
This man in Dallas was not mentally ill.
Mm-hmm.
This was a deliberate, calculated, willful, planned murder of white police officers. That is not mental illness. Thanks much. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.
That's it, Steve. That's in a nutshell. Always looking to kind of, because we don't want to confront the concept of evil versus righteousness, we want to rationalize it by saying, oh, this is a demented person. This is a mentally ill person. We do this all the time. He knew what he was doing. He was morally
trained.
He was morally culpable. He was legally culpable. It is the question of viewpoint and evil versus righteousness. And if you don't get to that discussion, we're going to have the same round and round with the same very narrow parameters of debate, fenced in by the cable news anchor bots and the politicians every time something like this occurs.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Some stormy weather heading our way. Enjoy it now while you can, but it's going to be windy, warm, and a shower or thunderstorm by this afternoon, a high of 87. Then tonight, some pretty heavy thunderstorms will be rolling through here with some flooding, can bring some damaging winds. And same for tomorrow, Wednesday. We're going to have a couple of severe thunderstorms and a high of 85. Let's get those travel times. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. Tri-State Tollway southbound. It's a real mess in Gurnee from around 132 to 120, where a crash has 3 right lanes blocked. Northbound, the Tri-State is stop and go 95th to the Hinsdale Oasis, and from the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue Curve. Eastbound Adams Tollway slow 59 to Higgins. Reagan Tollway Roosevelt to the Tri-State Veterans Memorial slow. The Boughton Toll to the Reagan Tollway, and from the Army Trail Toll to 290. The Edens is 25 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose outbound 30. Kennedy 57 minutes. O'Hare to downtown outbound 45. The Ike an hour and 15 minutes from Thorndale to downtown. An hour from Manheim outbound 55 minutes to Thorndale. Stevenson 50 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive outbound 40. And Ryan 30 minutes. 95th to downtown. Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
If you want to add natural light to your home, the best bet is to get a Solo Tube. It's a cool, affordable home improvement, and it only takes hours to transform the darkest room in your home. Now, this Solo Tube and this amazing technology it's much better than a traditional skylight and the associated problems. There's no leaking It's the best solution ever. Now, here's what you do. Katie at Chicago Skylight Pros, she's Chicagoland's Solo Tube Premier Dealer. You call her up at 844-789-SHINE, S-H-I-N-E. It's a great experience. The natural lighting looks beautiful, and my bathroom, where it's located, seems so much larger. It's so simple and inexpensive. Katie from Chicago Skylight Pros comes over for a consultation. You quickly pick out your Solo Tube system, and now you'll have natural light that brightens up your home without tearing your roof apart. I highly recommend you brighten your home with natural light using Solo Tube daylighting systems. So call my friend Katie at Chicago Skylight Pros, a Solo Tube Premier Dealer, at 844-789-SHINE, S-H-I-N-E. Mention me and receive $75 off your first Solo Tube. That's 844-789-SHINE, or visit ChicagoSkylightPros.com to view the video and see the before and after pics. You'll be sold. Go to ChicagoSkylightPros.com. That's ChicagoSkylightPros.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I'm telling you right now, it's awesome. I was trying to get my blood pressure regulated, okay? And like after 3 days of taking this thing, my blood pressure went back down to normal. I am ecstatic. I am so happy with this stuff. It is my savior.
Well, I had back pain for the last 40 years. 4 days after I started taking this stuff, it's gone.
This was the first summer that I have not had to have a steroid shot to help me to breathe.
The reason why I'm taking it because I've got Hep C. Once I began taking your stuff, it took a few months, but believe it or not, my liver enzymes are way down and it's normal now. It works.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code CHICAGO.
Hey, Christy, what are you doing here?
Making money with Selfie Station.
What's Selfie Station?
It's right over there.
You mean that awesome portable touchscreen photo booth that we've been taking selfies with all night? That's your business? Oh, it's so much fun, and the pictures are such a great memory.
Everybody loves Selfie Station. I'm having more fun and making more money than I ever have.
You know, this would be perfect for my brother's wedding.
Call me soon, because I book up fast.
Do you want to own a business that's fun, that everybody loves? Right now, Selfie Station is offering a sweet deal to get you started. For a super low investment, you can be up and running in just 30 days. Weddings, corporate functions, proms, club events, holiday parties. Be the first in your area. You won't believe how much people will pay to make your business the life of their party. And right now, Selfie Station sweetens the deal even more with a $500 discount off the professional package. That's right, for a limited time, you can save even more.
Just go to selfiestationradio.com and enter promo code 77. That's selfiestationradio.com, promo code 77.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy are talking about the Dallas shooter's parents speaking to The Blaze. Snippets of the interview released yesterday. The full interview to be aired tomorrow night. Kurt in Park Ridge, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
You know, I'm getting sick of hearing about all the background on these people. You're making them celebrities, and just tell us, are they, jihadist terrorists? Are they Black Panther? Just give us some basic info, and then move on, because it doesn't help. You're going to get copycat snipers now. I mean, they had someone in Florida that was like an ex-beauty queen that said this guy's a martyr now, and so just move away from it, because these people are becoming celebrities, and there's kooks out there that are going to copy.
Okay, thanks for the
Well,
call,
you
Kurt.
always fear copycat
former
crimes.
Miss Alabama, I believe.
Yeah, what
it
did
was.
she say?
She it was a long, kind of tortured video, but she essentially said she feels like he's a martyr. She knows it's not right to feel that way, but she's so angry about the police-involved shootings in Baton Rouge and St. Paul.
I'm glad you watched the Beauty Queen video, so I didn't have to.
Yes, indeed. Also, it may be worth noting the threats we face outside our borders. Osama bin Laden's son posted an online audio message saying that we will continue striking you and targeting you in your country and abroad in response to your oppression of the people of Palestine, Afghanistan, Syria, and on and on and on, and also as revenge for killing his father.
Knew that was coming.
And this is just creepy. This is very reminiscent of Leni Riefenstahl propaganda in the Third Reich. This from the Daily Mail. Photographs capture children as young as 5 taking part in a makeshift jihad Olympics, believed to have been staged in the ISIS-controlled city of Tal Afar in Iraq. The terrorist group apparently begged people in the area to join in the fun and take part in games including tug-of-war and musical chairs. Dissidents revealed that the regime is desperate to portray life as normal under ISIS in Mosul, Iraq, and Raqqa, according to one paper. In the pictures, children don a selection of British football shirts as they compete against each other in the miniature Olympics put on by the terrorist group. Large crowds look on and support the young competitors, who apparently go home with bags of sweets if they win. Whew. Ed on the Southwest side.
Hi, guys. Great show. I have to agree with that last caller. You know, I think that there's a glossing over of the racial aspect of this whole incident. These women in the military, were they white that were being sexually harassed? Was it their underwear that was being stolen?
Shoot,
you know, whenever there's
the woman who
racial...
accused him was Asian.
Pardon?
The woman who accused the Dallas shooter of sexual harassment is Asian.
Oh, okay. I mean, you know, the whole racial aspect of this thing. When the shooter in the church, it was all about racial. When if this guy kills 5 white police officers, they gloss over this. I think there needs to be more exposure to that aspect of it.
Okay, thanks, Ed. Brian in Brookfield.
Good morning.
Morning.
Thank you for taking my call. You know, I just had a kind of a quick comment, and I hope you can elaborate on it. It seems like there seems to be 2 problems with the police officers, and we're putting police officers in this big, massive, they're all the same, where it seems like there's a small amount of police officers that are taking away due process. We're not allowed to put these people on trial. The sniper, he committed an atrocity, and their decision was to blow him up instead of starve him out or do whatever it took to bring this man to justice. And that is one of the biggest problems with how I see it.
Thanks for the call. Yeah, I mean, I think they did bring him to justice. Thanks for the call, Brian. And remember the situation. He said there were IEDs that he had planted. He still had weapons. He could have continued to open fire just because he was communicating. I think you have to look at the totality of the circumstances in terms of the decision to send that that robot with the bomb, with the explosive, in to take care of that, that domestic terrorist.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
The success of a mid-sized business often comes down to one thing: managing your cash flow. I'm Ann Dollagall, Treasury Management Executive at Signature Bank. At Signature Bank, we take a personalized and proactive approach to structuring your cash management solutions to keep your financial assets safe and working for you. Our automated accounts receivable and accounts payable technology allows your business to grow without adding to your overhead expenses. And what truly sets Signature Bank apart is our personal approach. We get to know your business by rolling up our sleeves to work alongside you. Call me today for a review of your company's operational challenges.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, there's a reason why nearly every AM 560 host endorses MyPillow, because it's the best ever. Even the National Sleep Foundation agrees that Made in America MyPillow is in a class by itself because they made it their official pillow. Now, if you still haven't bought one, you should. You'll sleep better, and it's good for your health. It's washable to remove dead skin, dirt, skin oils, dust mites. That's why your pillow's heavy. And those things can cause allergies, acne, and asthma. You really deserve a washable MyPillow. It comes with a 10-year warranty, and it's an excellent health investment. So visit MyPillow.com or call 800-489-0201. Be sure to use the promo code Amy, and you'll get 2 MyPillows for the price of one. Give one as a gift, keep the other for yourself. Or just use both, but do it now. 800-489-0201 or online at MyPillow.com. Promo code Amy. That's 800-489-0201. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Trump and Jeb Bush part due at 8:38.
And speaking of part due, Donald Trump trying again to have a rally here in Chicago today. But first, let's get the latest from Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. 76 degrees. Today is the day President Obama heads to Dallas to speak at a police memorial service there. 5 Dallas police officers were murdered in a sniper ambush last week. Former President George W. Bush will also speak at that service. 3 men and 2 women are under arrest at this hour. They were allegedly shooting at police officers overnight in Washington, D.C. Authorities say they were tipped to the shots being fired, responded to the scene, and the suspects opened fire on them from inside an SUV. Firefighters in southern Italy say at least a dozen have been killed when 2 trains collide head-on in Puglia. Italian news reports say the trains, each with 4 cars, collided near the town of Andria on a line with just a single track. They are privately run and managed transportation vehicles, trains, if you will. A photo of the crash shows the cars crumpled together and forced off the tracks at sharp angles. 12 were killed today when a suicide car bomb explodes and debris rips through an outdoor market in a Shiite-dominated district of Baghdad. The chairman of Donald Trump's presidential campaign is not giving hints as to who the likely Republican nominee will select as a running mate. Paul Manafort was on Fox News this morning.
He said he would decide by the end of the week and make it public. I think he understands that he wants his vice presidential candidate to be known before the weekend begins, and he wants next week to focus to be on the combined Trump goals for his presidency.
Indiana Governor Mike Pence reportedly on that short list. He is set to join Trump at an event tonight. Here in Chicago, federal prosecutors are recommending a judge impose the same 14-year prison sentence on Rod Blagojevich at his August resentencing that the imprisoned governor received at his original sentencing in 2011. Sox pitcher Chris Sale will be the starter for the American League against the National League All-Star team and the Cubs infield tonight in San Diego. The news service of CVS Pharmacy, now at Target. The pharmacy you trust is now in the store you love because CVS Pharmacy is now at Target. So you can expect more even when it comes to your health. Expert pharmacists helping with dosage instructions, side effects, and more. Visit CVS Pharmacy now at Target. 8:35 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher is looking for a united GOP to take on Hillary.
If Paul Ryan, if all these squishy, timid Republicans, the NRA, some fair-minded media types, if any of those factions would be in Donald Trump's corner, maybe he'd be up by 10 points right now. Who knows? Who knows? Democrats have no trouble uniting.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, a family tradition since 1897.
If you could quickly and painlessly clear your psoriasis or vitiligo, would you?
No matter how big the psoriasis is, no matter how small the psoriasis, we can help you.
Ashley is a clinical specialist for Extract, the amazing in-office treatment for psoriasis and vitiligo that's clinically proven to show immediate results with up to 95% clearance.
What my patients love most about the Extract treatments is it's safe, it's FDA cleared, and they're seeing results very quickly.
End the embarrassing, painful patches and discoloration with Extract. There's no medications, no topical ointments, and virtually no side effects. Extract uses light to transform your skin and change your life. It's covered by all major insurances and Medicare, and will help you find a doctor close by.
I love what I do. I love coming in every day and making a difference in patients' lives. It's amazing.
Call now to live Extract Clear. Call 800-978-3554. That's 800-978-3554. 800-978-3554 or visit xtracradio.com. Qualified patients, certain restrictions apply.
8:37, Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. The latest with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The inbound Kennedy is jammed. Foster to the Burn Circle. It is an hour and 5 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. 48 minutes from Montrose. 32 in the Express. Outbound 45 minutes to the airport. The Edens, 25 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound 30. The Eisenhower's an hour and 15 minutes. Thorndale to downtown, an hour from Manheim. Outbound 55 minutes to Thorndale. Inbound Stevenson, 55 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 35. Ryan is 30 minutes. 95th to downtown. Lakeshore Drive southbound slow Montrose to Fullerton and 18th for the Stevenson, northbound from the Stevenson to Jackson. Tri-State southbound, a mess from 132 to 120. Crash now blocking one right lane. Northbound slow Archer to 31st and Roosevelt to North Avenue. Veterans Memorial slow Boughton to the Reagan Tollway and from the Army Trail Toll to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Windy, warm, humid, maybe a shower or thunderstorm could be heavy at times this afternoon, and some storms could bring flooding rains into the overnight. High 87 and a low of 73. It's 76 right now. Next news at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Ayn Rand Institute and the Yaron Brook Show. Heard Saturday afternoons at 4 here on AM 560, The Answer.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy.
It's a
Peppy.
techno version.
Yeah, it's Peppy.
Donald Trump, I guess he's not having a rally today, but they're closing the streets around the Trump Tower for protesters. Donald Trump is going to be meeting with your friend, or not your friend, but Ron Gidwitz.
Yeah, I think Gidwitz is hosting a fundraiser for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gidwitz is one of the state co-finance chairman of the Trump campaign.
And then guess where he heads? He's going to Indianapolis for a private fundraiser and rally there, but it's widespread speculation that that's the time that he could give Indiana Governor Mike Pence the nod to be his running mate.
Well, we'll see how that turns out. Trump was in Virginia Beach yesterday, and that is where he announced that
he's got this.
He's the law and order candidate.
I am the law and order candidate.
And by contrast, Hillary Clinton is the lawless candidate.
Hillary Clinton, on the other hand, is weak, ineffective, pandering, and, as proven by her recent email scandal, which was an embarrassment not only to her, but to the entire nation as a whole, she's either a liar or grossly incompetent. One or the other. Very simple.
Guilty.
But he also declared himself. Yeah, why don't you play that 1,000 more times? He also declared himself the candidate of compassion. That he's here. That he's compassionate compared to Hillary Clinton.
Well, sure. That
he cares about the Dallas police officers who lost their lives.
So is a freezer compared to Hillary Clinton. But here's the thing that's coming into focus for Trump. I think he's presenting two very stark choices for voters to contemplate and to answer in their heads when they go to the polls. And this is, I assume, going to be reinforced over the next 4.5 months. One is Hillary Clinton is a fixer in a game that is rigged against you. She is one of the fixers, and she's also a beneficiary of the system being rigged for big government ruling class politicians like herself. And you just saw what Jim Comey did as evidence of that. By the way, a survey out saying by about a 20-point margin, more than half the nation believes that Hillary Clinton should have been indicted, and they're concerned about her as president because of what they understand about the handling of classified information during her time as Secretary of State. So that's one. So you've got, I'm the outsider unfixer against the fixers. That's pretty simple, pretty straightforward, and a lot of people believe it.
But some person who thinks Trump and his campaign is broken is former candidate Jeb Bush.
Well, right, but we'll get to Jeb in a second. But there's two. That's one, and the second essentially dichotomy he's presenting is, I'm the law and order guy, as you just heard him say.
Please,
he should have that follow him around.
Flashbacks. I don't like that.
You
don't care though. You don't even know.
Oh, I do know the episode you're just talking about.
Thanks. Wait.
You brought it up.
No, you brought it up. Sound sticks with me. It follows you when you're walking down the street.
So fix versus the unfixer, right? And the other is the law and order guy versus the lawless Secretary of State. The woman who believes that she and her husband and Clinton Incorporated are above the law. Those are
Because they are.
Well, right. So those are pretty stark choices that have a lot of basis, at least in terms of the characterization of Hillary Clinton, a lot of basis in the evidentiary record. Those are good questions to confront the electorate with. I think those redound to Trump's benefit. And I think he should focus whatever resources he raises today and through the rest of the campaign, and in addition to whatever he contributes personally, to forwarding those questions. Those are questions he is going to win. If you believe this, then it's a vote for Trump. If you believe that, then it's a vote for Trump. That is his sweet spot to me.
Well, to me, the only reason why I'm voting for Trump, maybe, but the only reason I'm leaning toward him is because of Supreme Court nominations. Because there are going to be 3. Well, one obviously right now, but 2 others, I believe. And we can't have Hillary Clinton in her liberal ways choosing Supreme Court justices. That will change the path and the history of this nation.
Well, Jeb Bush surfaced, did a sit down with former comm director for the Bush administration, Nicole Wallace.
I wonder how he got the interview.
She's on MSNBC. She sat down with him in Kennebunkport, where he's, I assume, loving his dad.
He does love his dad because we know that he loves his dad.
I love my dad. I'd kill for him. I'd go to prison for him because I love him so much.
That's a lot.
Yeah, and that's after he makes guacamole on the weekends with his family.
Right.
That's what he does for fun. Remember? We learned that in debate.
Yeah, we learned he's Latino. We learned a lot of things about Jeb Bush.
Latina.
And so he sat down and reflected a bit about the campaign and a bit about Trump. Now, Jeb has said he's not going to endorse Trump. He's not going to vote for Trump. So in terms of the calculus he's making, a little bit different than yours. And here's what he'd said, reflecting on the present as well as the campaign.
Trump, to his credit, was very smart at exploiting these kind of opportunities. He's a master at understanding how the media works, more than anybody I've ever seen in politics. And kudos for him for kind of creating the environment and then manipulating the environment to his effect. The tragedy of this, though, is that there isn't going to be a wall built, and Mexico's not going to pay for it. And there's not going to be a ban on Muslims. None of that is, this is all like a alternative universe that he created. The reality is that's not going to happen. And people are going to be deeply frustrated, and the divides will grow in our country. And this extraordinary country, still the greatest country on the face of the earth, will continue to stagger instead of soar. And that's the heartbreaking part of this, is I think people are going to really feel betrayed.
Do you agree with Jeb? If that would come to pass, if the wall doesn't get built,
it's not going to get built.
Would you feel betrayed? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text
Donald
line.
Trump has a gift of just saying things that people want to hear, getting people out to vote for, that have sat home for years. And I think they're going to be grossly disappointed in their candidate, Donald Trump, if he becomes president.
Yeah, let me...
just because some people are single issue voters, and immigration is very important to them, Dan, so they want to ban Muslims and they want to build a wall.
Right. Distinguish your characterization of Trump from every other politician, including the occupant of the White House.
Every politician, you're right, pumps us full of lies, gives us false hopes. That is very true. Today, Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders, they're going to give a false hope to college students saying all college education is going to be paid for by the government. Congratulations. That's a false hope. That's a gross negligence comment, because that's not going to happen either.
Well, and here's the thing. Jeb was a very good governor of Florida, and I've said this before. But let me add that everything Jeb said when he ran for governor 3 times, 2 times successfully, 1 time not, everything he said didn't materialize just as he suggested it would when he was governor, despite being a very good governor.
It's part of the game.
It's just part of the reality. Here's what I propose that we do. Here's what I think we should do. Now I need to navigate the 3 branches of government in order to get done what I said I would get done. So it's not just about having the vision or having the ideas. It's also about how to navigate the political process to go from conception to fruition. And Jeb knows that, which is why his comment about Trump is disingenuous. If you want to say Trump won't know how to get things done, won't know how to get from here to there, okay, well, that's a little bit more of a substantial critique. The idea is saying, I'm kind of divining that this will not happen or it won't happen. Nothing is going to happen quite as simply as any politician makes it sound on the stump. It's just the nature of, well, here's how I'm going to do it. Here's my 24 steps to go from my idea to its enactment. Of course. So that's number one, the problem I have with what Jeb said. Number two, he still doesn't get it. He still doesn't get what happened and what's happening. Trump didn't create the environment that gave rise to Trump. Big government, political ruling class in D.C., including, I hate to break it to him, 2 Bushes, are who created the environment that gave rise to the Trump opportunity. That's the reality. Let's go to Stanley on the north side.
Hey guys.
Hey,
how you guys doing? Dan, you kind of sold my thunder there.
Oh, sorry.
If anybody's living in an alternative universe, it's Jeb Bush.
No, he gets Kenny Bunkport.
But Trump is providing. He's reflecting what the wishes are of the silent majority.
Yeah.
People realize what is happening. They realize that there is no control over their own borders, and that gives people a deep sense of insecurity. They see the crime. They see minorities taking jobs from their children, from themselves, limiting the opportunities of the middle class or entry levels into the middle class, manufacturing jobs. Trump is reflecting what the wishes are of the United States. And this is a very important thing, and I know that both of you may be angry with me for saying this, is we live in a practical world, not an idealistic world. There are 2 choices here. It's Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. Those are the 2 choices. And you're never going to get the perfect president or the perfect candidate. That was Barack Obama. And look what has happened now to certain people.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Stanley. Some are less perfect than others. Mark in Plainfield.
Yeah, someone needs to hand Jeb Bush a rose in a fisted glove and point out that the eagle is flying with the dove. He needs to stop being angry, stop being bad just because Donald Trump said something bad. Donald Trump is their nominee. Now it's time to stop Hillary. Turn that anger into joy. Hillary wouldn't be running if she were a boy. All you rhinos need to stop your hate because Donald Trump will make America great. And there's a rose in a fisted glove, and the eagle flies with the dove. So if you can't vote for the Republican you love, vote for Donald Trump.
Mark.
Vote for Donald Trump.
Mark,
Vote
very
for Donald
nice.
Trump.
Mark is the new poet laureate of the Chicago's Morning Answer. Thanks, Mark.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
We have a naked man. Dan's looking for him, and he'll tell you where he is. Too bad I needed his help this morning. Today we're going to have some sun, but then it's going to get windy. It's going to be warm, of course, and humid. A shower or thunderstorm likely this afternoon, a high of 87. Then tonight, heavy thunderstorms with some damaging winds likely. And tomorrow, it's going to stick around. We're going to have severe thunderstorms that can bring some flooding as well, a high of 85 degrees. Anything damaging out on the roadways? Here's Jim Talamonte.
Right now, pretty much the usual stuff, Amy. We have some delays after a crash on the southbound tri-state. And Gurnee, it's still slow from 132 to 120, but all lanes have reopened. Northbound, much improved. Still slow from the Stevenson to 31st and Roosevelt to North Avenue. The Adams Tollway is fine now, so is the Reagan Tollway. Northbound Veterans Memorial, stop and go from 75th to the Reagan Tollway, and from the Army Trail Toll to 290. The Edens, 25 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 40. The Kennedy is an hour from O'Hare to downtown, 42 minutes from Montrose, 37 on the Express, outbound 45 minutes to O'Hare. The Eisenhower, an hour and 20 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, an hour from Manheim, outbound 51 minutes to Thorndale. Stevenson, 55 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, and the Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Jim Talamonte, the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
All right, the Reader's Digest version of this naked dude. Yes. Naked guy steals a landscaping truck. Steals a landscaping truck, crashes it on Lakeshore Drive near Randolph, jumps out of the car, runs across the northbound lanes of Lakeshore Drive.
And wait, is greeted by BLM protesters?
No. Then he jumped in Lake Michigan.
Oh,
and then they fished him out, and boy, that had to be uncomfortable. This is the dirty job that police and first responders have to do.
Was he chumming the waters? Oh.
Oh, boy.
Oh, sorry. I had to bring it back to Cabo.
Why was he naked?
Why was he naked?
Well, why not?
It was hot out, Dan, and he didn't have AC.
Many of you own or manage growing companies, and you know that your entire business depends on your phones. If your phone service provider struggles to deliver your calls, it can mean lost revenue. That's often the case with an outdated phone system. The solution? Well, it's a company that we use here at AM 560, Innovative Networks. They excel at providing innovative solutions to reinforce your company's phone infrastructure and enhance call flow. We truly appreciate how comprehensive, diligent, and cost-effective Innovative Networks was in providing solutions that scale as their business expands. Innovative Networks can even replace your outdated phone system at no cost and provide hands-on training to maximize your capabilities so you'll save money and be more focused on growing your business. Here at AM 560, we are thrilled with Innovative Networks, so follow our lead and call Innovative Networks at 312-453-7777. They're rated A+ by the Better Business Bureau, the number 312-453-7777, or visit go4inet.com. That's go, the number 4, INET.com.
You ever seen a grown man naked?
Did you know 40% of all cancer could be prevented? That's a fact. Along with maintaining appropriate body weight and regular exercise, the American Institute for Cancer Research and the USDA confirm that eating 9 to 11 servings of fruits and vegetables every day is the key. Now ask yourself, am I at risk? How many servings of fruits and vegetables did I eat today? Balance of Nature has solved this problem and provides an easy and affordable way to consume over 10 servings of 31 different whole fruits and vegetables every day.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Call now, 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
Gentlemen, Dan Proft, when it comes to your health, do you know your numbers? You may know your blood pressure and cholesterol, but do you know your testosterone number? I know my number. Low T Center makes it easy. You walk in, take a simple blood test, and with the convenience of their on-site lab, you'll know your results within minutes. If you have noticed a decline in energy, stamina, or libido, you may have low testosterone. Low T makes you feel tired and grumpy, can raise your cholesterol and cause weight gain. Low T's experienced medical staff will educate you on the benefits and risks of testosterone replacement. At Low T Center, services are covered by most health insurance companies, and they have flexible hours for your convenience. So do yourself a favor and call 630-409-4305. Tell them Dan Proft sent you. That number again, 630-409-4305, or go to lowtcenter.com.
I am so glad I did it. I'm just mad at myself for waiting so long. Hi, Amy Jacobson here for CertaPro Painters. You know, our front porch had chipping and peeling. It looked old and run down, but thanks to CertaPro Painters, it looks brand new again. And trust me, my neighbors are happy I did it. And you know, it's not too late to book that painting project. But don't wait. Be sure to get on CertaPro Painters' summer painting schedule today. Call 800-GO-CERTA or visit CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. You know, CertaPro Painters will work around your busy schedule to get your home looking picture perfect for all your summer entertaining. That's why CertaPro Painters says we do painting, you do life. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Whether it's residential or commercial, interior or exterior, it's not too late to get that painting project off your to-do list. Call now, 1-800-GO-CERTA, 1-800-GOCERTA, or visit CertaPro.com today.
My name is David Hochberg, and I'm Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you're looking to purchase a new home or refinance your existing home, give me a call. Jeff, Vietnam vet, recently discharged from a Chapter 13 bankruptcy, stopped into his bank before calling me. Bad move. The bank's supposed mortgage expert told Jeff he'd have to wait 1 year after a Chapter 13 discharge to secure a VA loan. Wrong. I informed Jeff he could secure a VA loan 1 day after his Chapter 13 discharge, and then introduced him to one of my preferred realtors, Kate Waddell, who's helping Jeff locate a home. If you're a veteran who would like to work with a lender that respects and values your service to our country, give me a call now at 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. I've helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but I can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage and Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage License D4358, RMLA, NMLS 19186.
Hi, I'm Ken Pecco.
Hi, and I'm also Ken Pecco.
And we're from Combined Sales. For nearly 50 years, our family has served local businesses just like yours with quality paper, packaging, janitorial, and safety supplies.
We offer products your business can't live without and solutions